manufacturers and suppliers a unique opportunity to participate in pre-scheduled one-on-one meetings with OEMs that have identified specific sourcing needs and are actively seeking new supplier relationships. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs, and you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. 74 degrees. Time now is 6:07. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
All right. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, McGraw.
Why was 2019 afraid of 2020?
Why was 2019 afraid of 2020? Well, 2020 was the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say COVID-19.
No, it's because they had a fight in 2021. Yeah?
Why did 2019 afraid of 2020?
Because they had a fight in 2021.
And 2021. Oh, 20. Like why did 6, 6, 8,
right,
7, 7, 8,
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
2019 afraid of 2020.
I think you meant plandemic. It was planned.
Oh, is that what they're calling it now? The plandemic?
Oh, they called it that then that day.
Oh.
I never heard that.
Oh, I was working elsewhere.
I was working in the vortex. Can somebody
shut that door?
Shut that door. Thank you very much. I was working in an alternate universe.
Really? His face said it all.
I heard a lot of stuff.
Does that mean Trump planned it all? Was that?
No, Fauci.
Yeah, it was according
Fauci.
to Polly.
Okay.
Fauci
Got it. Okay.
woke up one morning and decided to
You know
be
what?
the
Let's.
worst.
Well, since President Trump was in power, they planned it to get him out of office.
Oh, is that the deal?
That's one of the theories.
Oh, except how about the clip where Trump's telling Bob Woodward, "Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is really bad." Well, why don't you tell people that? Well, I don't want to scare him. And then he went in public. It'll be gone in 2 weeks. It'll just magically disappear.
If we would have stayed at home for 2 weeks, but nobody did.
And I don't want to go back and relive. I still have PTSD.
You know, I don't like to watch. It's funny. I don't like the shows when people, when they film shows during that and they have to wear masks. It's kind of like PTSD. Yeah, you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like TV shows, they'll be like series or stuff where they'll have episodes where they're all wearing masks.
I don't remember that.
Well, I mean, just any, reality shows or anything. Like they still push through, but there's still like remnants, I'm like,
Crazy stuff. All right. We got a busy show. Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent, is going to join us. The latest from the escalation of this latest thing. Karen Travers in about 10 minutes. Stephen Portnoy is going to be joining us. Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General just got a little more interesting. They've pulled the vote. Apparently, they don't have the votes. They're not going to get the votes. And Trump's saying, we'll wait till we get a better Senate in a couple of months. But a lot of people saying you might not be getting that better Senate. We'll get into that with Stephen Portnoy, 720. Peter Harlambos, they found some DNA in Nancy Guthrie's home, but none of it was linked to anybody of any substance or it's a mixture. It sounds like it was somewhat tainted, or so we'll get the latest from Peter Harlambos as that sort of now pops up again, but still no real leads. Will Gans is going to talk about Spider-Man, brand new day. The Devil Wears Prada is now on home streaming. The Dink, Double Income, No Kids.
No.
That's the one with Will Ferrell, the golfer?
No, that's
Hawk.
the Hawk.
Oh, this is the one with the
Jake Johansson Jake Johnson from New Girl.
Yeah,
and Ben Stiller.
And that's the one with pickleball. Yeah. What'd you think of Spider-Man?
I liked it.
Oh,
I did. I really liked it. It's very emotional.
Oh,
because he's dealing with loss because he's all alone.
Right.
Because at the end of the last one, he made everyone forget who he was, and so he's trying to do all these things without anyone, and it's hard to do anything alone, much less be a superhero.
How did he make everyone forget that he was Spider-Man? Did he like give him the COVID vaccine or what did he do?
You're going to look at me funny when I say this. He had Doctor Strange do a spell on the world.
Oh, so he gave everyone the COVID-19 vaccine. I see how it works.
Yes.
But he was in The Odyssey, Tom Holland.
And so was his wife.
Yeah, and then he's now in Spider-Man, and then he's apparently filming a biopic on Fred Astaire.
Yes, he's dancing.
Yeah.
Just choreographing, like fight scenes.
Yeah, think about that for a second.
I always how do they remember all their lines? Like when they're like Liam Neeson, who puts out a movie every other day, don't they? Or Mark Wahlberg. Like, how do you know what I mean? I just picture what's it like every night when you're running lines. Wait, what movie made
It's called acting. How do people look at you and say, how do you put up with me every day?
That is true.
Yeah.
It's called acting.
It's called medication. No, what?
Hey, that wasn't funny. Will Gans, Johnny Londoff, Missouri Department of Conservation joins us to talk about local Bell Fountain Conservation Area. Steve Savard, newly minted as the anchor of Channel 5. I immediately called Kelly Jackson when I heard the news. And I said, man, I have ruined you for all the other men in your life, haven't I? I'm like, Mike Bush went out screaming, I can't work with this Kelly Jackson anymore. And now they're going to try Steve Savard.
How are they going to get a desk big enough?
How
is the camera
forget that. How are they going to get Steve Savard? He understands that he's got to feed her grapes every day at 4:00.
Isn't that part of the rigorous
elephant leaf?
In
her dressing room. So Steve Savard, I don't know what Steve Savard thinks he signed up for, but he didn't sign up to be an anchor of the Channel 5 News.
Kelly's co-anchor.
Yes. Kelly's Ed McMahon. Yes.
Hey-o.
It'd be funny if they had him seats like the seats were lower. Like Kelly's is way up higher and Steve's like way down there.
Yeah.
Just so that you know.
So there you go. Steve Savard. They have to add an extra wing to the Channel 5 desk. An extra leaf.
A leaf.
Steve Savard's hair hasn't moved since the tornado of 93. I'm kidding you. He's actually one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. We're paths never really crossed all these years. And then when he started coming back here and filling in, we've had a chance to talk and chat, and could not be a nicer man. I've always liked it. I mean, I was a fan of his Ram stuff and, sports stuff. And then he switched over to the anchor role at Channel 4. It's a brilliant move by Channel 5. It was really a brilliant move, but it was really the only move.
Yes.
I mean, he
was the only applicant?
It was the only. I mean, what are you going to bring in? Ed Schwartz from Springfield, Oregon. Who's been in 17 different markets. I mean,
he was already working there.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it was a no-brainer. You have Mike Bush, who is the Walter Cronkite of St. Louis now, right? And he's been the chair for 20 years, been in St. Louis for 40 or whatever. I mean, he's the trusted voice of, he's given you the news for the last 25 years. So you're not going to bring in,
was
Tony DeTupo, whatever the guy is over at CBS.
Rick Edlund. What?
He was at ABC 30 or whatever.
And then he was at 11.
Yeah, and then he was 11. Now he's semi-retired, living in Florida, I believe, working for the Show Me Institute.
Yeah,
nice.
He does their commercials.
He does their PR stuff. Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah,
and it's funny, these names just kind of like, Mike Bush. These.
Yeah.
So this will be the second time that Steve Savard takes over for Mike Bush, because Mike Bush did the play-by-play for the Rams.
Oh yeah,
and then Steve did it.
Yeah.
Savvy.
And Mike Bush is leaving in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, August.
Yeah,
like leaving late, like
he's retiring. Yeah, his last day is like the middle of August.
Ooh, are they having a party? I always want to crash those retirement
parties. They're having like bagels. They're having some bagels for the guy at 10 o'clock in the morning. What? They're gonna get a cake. Kelly Jackson's gonna bake some brownies.
They'll misspell his name on it.
Busch. Yeah.
Congrats.
St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Let's get a look at your commute. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, no accidents or slow traffic on the roads right now. And clocking your commute, it's 10 minutes from 270 and 55 up to Manchester. Also 10 minutes to go from the Poplar Street Bridge to 255 in Collinsville, and a 9-minute ride from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
Weakening showers and a few thunder showers could have an impact in spots this morning before fading midday into the afternoon. But look out for another round of storms likely late this afternoon into this evening. And some of that second round could be strong to severe with gusty winds, maybe even an isolated tornado. Turning steamy before that happens, though, this afternoon with a high of 84. Storms make way for scattered showers overnight tonight, down to 69 for the low. And it is unseasonably cool and mostly cloudy Saturday. Scattered showers from time to time tomorrow with a high of only 76. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's do this. Let's talk Beck Elder Law. We had Rudy on yesterday. What a nice man, and what a wonderful company he has built all these many years, 50 plus years. Mom and dad going into a retirement community. You've got a lot of decisions you've got to make, not only about their assets, but how are we going to pay, who's going to pay, when are you going to pay, how long are you going to pay? All of those things are legitimate questions. Rudy Beck can help you with all of that. There are strategies in place to help you with all of that. The next generation, the grandkids, how do you want to protect them? And right, you've worked all these years and you have all these assets. You want to be protected from outside forces, rogue forces, government coming in and slapping their taxes on it. Matthew Furr, Jay Lennox, Carolyn Stoltz, that's the well-respected team of BeckElderLaw.com. The organization has been respected, one of the most respected in the country when it comes to elder law, and it's right here in St. Louis. Their institutional memory is invaluable and cannot be easily found. That's why you call Rudy Beck, Matthew Furr, Jay Lennox, Carolyn Stoltzer. Get it on your calendar. Stop putting your head into the sand. 636-946-7899 or BeckElderLaw.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Hi, this is Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $33,000 in options and up to $3,300 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half off up to $33,000 in options and up to $3,300 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
McGraw, live in the morning on KTRS.
621 here. Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent. It has been a week. The war in Iran has been escalating all the week long. Karen Travers, what do we know now?
Yeah, I mean, it was a relatively quiet night last night. There were no U.S. strikes against Iran. We're getting some reports this morning that Kuwait may have intercepted drones, Iranian drones in their airspace today. But otherwise, it's not like we had seen earlier this week with those strikes on Jordan and then the U.S. retaliation. But it's a big question of where things go from here. The president had said earlier this week that the U.S. would hit Iran very hard because it's the U.S. turn to hit them, indicating that this would be retaliatory in nature. But he was also asked, if the U.S. would always respond to an Iranian strike, and he said yes. But, he's continued to leave the door open still for negotiations, even though the Iranians have denied that talks are happening. it's also just not clear publicly from what we are seeing and what we're hearing privately from sources where that is right now, given that the focus seems to be right now on these strikes back and forth, that there's not a lot of diplomatic efforts happening that is moving things forward in a meaningful way.
Yeah, Karen Travers, also the Todd Blanche story sort of got escalated yesterday. Is he going to pull back the nomination of Todd Blanche, or what do we know?
It doesn't seem like, he threatened to pull the nomination. He said he might temporarily do it from Senate consideration and just have him keep serving as acting attorney general. There were a lot of, maneuverings happening yesterday up on Capitol Hill. I think we kind of have to just see how this plays out now over the next couple of days.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy week. And even though, as we've often said all summer long, it's everywhere and nowhere when it comes to Iran. We'll keep it there. Karen Travers, ABC News. Good stuff. Busy day. Thanks for checking in.
Have a great day.
You got it. Karen Travers with the latest from the White House. You have to think that what is Iran's motivation to sort of capitulate? Their country has been decimated. They're still defiant. They found a choke point for the world, which is the closing of the strait. And since nobody can get them to open it up, they're sort of holding the world hostage. And there's nothing anybody can do about it, apparently. And so it's sort of like they read the newspapers. They know that President Trump clearly doesn't want to send troops in. They read the newspapers. They know that we're sort of low on interceptors. They read the newspapers. They're trading $30,000 drones for $10 million interceptors. So they're just going to slowly bleed the West dry and, wait for to cause chaos. Nobody really knows who's in charge in Iran. You've got the Revolutionary Guard. You've got, the Ayatollah's been killed. The new regime is in. But no one knows what's going on. No one really knows who's listening to who's in charge. And so you've got an ultimate quagmire. I don't see them wanting to negotiate. Because if they wanted to negotiate, they wouldn't have just tried to strike U.S. bases in Jordan. So we're in a precarious situation here where I don't know if there's an actual end game to any of this. Why do they want to end this? So we'll wait and see. But 6 months in, it's not looking very good. 6:25 here, Big 550 KTRS. All right, finish out the rest of the lineup before we're so rudely interrupted by traffic and weather. So Steve Savard's going to join us at 8:05.
8:50?
Oh, I'm sorry, 8:50. I apologize. Yes. Frank Cusimano has to feed him grapes. And then Steve feeds the grapes to Kelly Jackson. It's Channel Diva over there, man. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really going to have to make that desk bigger.
And poor Mark Maxwell. What's that guy going to do? I mean, that guy's got to haul in the grapes. So Steve Savard at 8:05. And then at 9 o'clock.
8:50.
8:50, I'm sorry. At 9:10, St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman's going to be joining us. They just did away with the property tax in St. Charles County. I'm going to ask him how all of that works. And that's Steve Ellman. And then Randy Carricker at 9:35. Cardinals lose another one yesterday. See where Lars Newbar forgot how many outs there were?
That happens.
Happens to the best of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like thinking Steve Savard is showing up at 8:05, but really 8:50. Yeah, he's out in right field, catches the ball. He thinks it's the third out. The guy's on second, and he scores from home.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it might have been a tie game at that point too.
Yeah, it didn't help things. But it's a mistake. We all make them. Mm-hmm. We're all human. We're not artificial intelligence.
And that makes mistakes too.
Yeah. So last night I had on the evening show, I had a state senator on from Minnesota. Have you heard of this new word called nudification?
Like NUD?
Yeah, like nude.
Yeah.
Nudification.
Mm-mm.
It's the process of using artificial intelligence to turn a regular picture into a nude picture.
Oh.
Right. So how they have like the children, you have a nice picture of a children at a birthday party and somebody says, oh, look, happy third birthday. And then someone else takes that picture and then turns those children into nudes and then sells them for child pornography or whatever else. That's called nudification. Or you have a picture of a woman. This story's happened numerous times where high school kids take pictures of their high school girls in their high school class and then all of a sudden turn them into nudes and then pass them around, right? And, unbeknownst to all these women. And so, I mean, it's kind of a disgusting feature.
Is it just putting heads on nude bodies or something? Or are they just making up nude, like
both? Yeah, you can. I haven't seen the technology, but it's pretty. I haven't tested it out, but it's pretty disgusting. Where you have that, making it look like, some 16-year-old you're in science class with is all of a sudden running around, nude, doing, unspeakable things. So it's kind of, you're being bullied and harassed and sexually harassed online by this technology.
Well, revenge pornography is becoming like
revenge porn is where it's real pictures. This is fake pictures.
Right. But I mean, I would assume it would fall under some of the same umbrella of
they're
felonious activity.
This is a thing. And so Minnesota passed a law saying you can't do it. These technology companies have to turn off the technology. And it passed bipartisan in the Minnesota legislature. That's very divided in the Senate and the House up in Minnesota. And it was supposed to come into a law on Saturday. It was supposed to be the law that you were not allowed to then do this in Minnesota. And Elon Musk brought a lawsuit saying, no, this is an infringement on First Amendment rights.
Because you can use Grok to do it.
Yes, because you can. Yes, we should be allowed. There's some people might abuse this technology, but this technology should be open for people to use it for.
For what? Is there anything
for non-nefarious reasons?
Is there any other reason this could be?
So insane. What? So it's so insane. It's so insane. Then I had people call up last night and try and defend it. Like don't blame the technology. Well, why not? I know. It's so insane. The world's gone stark raving mad. But it's coming. Nudification. It's a thing. Which is why I don't allow Emerson's picture on the internet. And people think I'm crazy. Well, do you see what they do to girls' pictures? No. Ugh. Don't be such a stickler. I know. It's insane.
Wait, after you said you see what they do, they're still like,
yeah. Oh. They're like, all right, I'll take it down. Yeah, like I'm the bad guy. I know, it's crazy. It's insane. 631, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw 70 East is jammed from Forestell to Wentzville Parkway. And checking some drive times, it's a 10-minute ride from 270 and 55 up to Manchester. It will take you 9 minutes to travel from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson and just 7 minutes from 170 and St. Charles Rock Road down to 64. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, thank you, Captain Paul. Weather today, man, it's almost nice outside. It's 75 degrees. They're calling for 100% rain today. Rain in the morning and a risk of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Rainfall will be about 1/4 inch. We need it, and we need it bad. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain as well. Cloudy in the morning, then off and on rain throughout the day today, or tomorrow, high of 72. And Sunday, high of 79. So we'll take the rain. We need it, and we need it bad. 75 right now, 6:32. Back to the newsroom. Here's Rose Dalton.
At least 18 migrants have died trying to reach the Spanish territory of Ceuta, where Spain has deployed its military after thousands breached the border with Morocco. Security forces clashed with migrants who continued to try to cross into Spain. Other migrants were voluntarily returning to Morocco. President Donald Trump says a deal has been reached for Hamas to disarm and Israel to withdraw its forces from Gaza, but many hurdles, conditions, and long timelines remain to wind down the war in the Palestinian territory. In local headlines, former St. Louis Mayor Vincent Shamel Jr. has been appointed to the Missouri State Board of Education. Governor Mike Kehoe formally appointed Shamel and Kansas City area teacher Michael McDonald to the state's 8-member board yesterday. The City of St. Louis and the City Youth Council are now accepting applications for the Youth Climate Action Fund. This is a program that will award micro grants of $1,000 to $5,000 to support youth-led climate action projects across the city. 74 degrees. Time now is 6:32. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
When you drive by Grand and Shoto, keep your eyes on the road. But when you're at the stoplight there, caddy corner to Captain D's is the new Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. You know, that corner's been transformed. You got St. Louis University across the street on that side street. What is that, Shoto, right? They've got that beautiful medical building or whatever it is over there, St. Louis University. And then that corner has been transformed because caddy corner to Captain D's is now the new Cardinal Glennon. And they're working every day. The outside is up. The glass walls are up. And now they're, of course, working on the inside. A couple more months to go. When it's all said and done, it's going to be the epicenter of world-class healthcare for the world, really. Kids come from all over the world, and it's right here at Grand and Shoto. It is a special, special place. Miracles happen every single day there. If you'd like to find out more, if you'd like to be part of the wonderful organization, they're always looking for volunteers. They're always looking for help. They're always looking for, they always have events, and we team up with them for all sorts of reasons. But just know that world-class healthcare, miracles happen every single day. So if you'd like to find out more about Cardinal Glennon and find out a little bit more about your hometown or find out more about the story, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. We all call it SSM Health Cardinal Glennon. That's the official term. Everyone calls it Cardinal Glennon. To find out more, glennon.org. That's glennon.org.
The Big 550 KTRS is proud to be celebrating 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis and looking forward to another 30 years. But we want to hear from you and get your thoughts on what you like and don't like and what we can do better. Go to KTRS.com or to the KTRS app and take our 30th anniversary listener survey. We thank you in advance, and once you take the survey, you'll be registered for a chance to win one of 5 $200 Visa gift cards from the Big 550, the talk of St. Louis.
Henry here for my friends at Black Fox Cooper. Many homeowners live with old, drafty windows for years, thinking they can put it off until later. But once they replace them with new Andersen windows, they can't believe the difference. Their homes are quieter, more comfortable, and more energy efficient, and the curb appeal is dramatically improved. Black Fox Cooper helps homeowners understand their options and select the right Andersen windows for their home and budget. Do it today, not tomorrow. Call 314-270-1484, online at blackfoxcooper.com. Black Fox Cooper, your local Andersen certified contractor.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah. And now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news. Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613. Exclusions apply.
McGraw Millhaven on KTRS.
No idea.
Wait, but you had this in high school, right?
I was in college. What was this?
Jerry Lewis's son, Jerry Lewis, and the Playboys.
Oh, Jerry Lewis, the
Yeah.
oh. Great Balls of Fire, Jerry Lewis?
No, that's Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lewis.
Well, that was a
Dean-
legitimate. That was a legitimate question.
Full disclosure, I was like, I didn't know Jerry Lee Lewis had a son.
Jerry Lewis, the
Telethon?
comedian. Yes, the telephone guy.
Oh.
Jerry Lewis.
Oh, Jerry
the
Lewis,
actor.
the comedian. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay, all right. I didn't know he had a son either. Who was a
famous
crooner.
yeah. Oh,
It's Nepo baby.
where did I hear
Who's Shecky Lewis?
Shecky Green? He was
Shecky.
Shecky Green. He was a comedian.
Up in the Catskills.
Yeah, he was sort of like a Henny Youngman. Henny
Borscht
Youngman.
belt.
Yeah.
Take my wife,
Take my
please.
wife, please. Yeah. Take my wife, please. How that was comedy at the time.
Man. It was.
But that was comedy. From the Country Club Car Wash. Sounds like Kelly found a new man to change her HVAC filter. Yeah. Did you know that Mike Bush's real name is Rabushka? I did not know that. Speaking of PTSD, us listeners remember you doing the show from your home in U City. Concrete work on your porch forced a shutdown for one day. Laugh out loud.
Oh, during COVID.
So at COVID, they call me up. COVID's breaking. They call me up and they say we're sending you home until further notice. And so they sent me up with a Comrex, and I did it from the front room in the house. Now, remember, she's 7 months pregnant, and they still laugh at me because I went to the store and I went out. We're living in U City. I went all the way out to, I don't know, like Pacific or some rural town, and bought supplies and bought 6 years worth of Campbell's soup. But you went and there was nothing left except, split pea soup and the stuff you'd never, and I just took it all because I'm thinking, okay, now look, when the nuclear war happens, I've got to feed my daughter who's 3. Okay, I'll take some of these, right? And so your mind was in Looney Tunes land. And so I came. So anyway, so I was at home, and so we settled in. And after a couple of weeks or months, when you kind of knew, all of a sudden now everyone's home improvements, whatever, they were going to redo the concrete steps. And so I was like, yeah, sure, start at 8 o'clock. That's fine. I mean, they bring out this jackhammer, and it was, and all of a sudden it starts at 8:01. And I'm like, can you guys hear this on there? And, it might have been Willie, I think, at the time, was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So Jennifer Blum comes in. She's like, I'll just handle it from here. I was like, thank you.
A jackhammer.
I was not going to work. But, talking about this Fauci stuff, the pandemic was so transformative that we're still dealing with the effects today, clearly. But the anger, we're just angry at everybody because it happened. And, the people who were in power, they had no idea what was going on. I don't know if Fauci was guilty or innocent or, how do you blame Trump for what do you do when they come to you and say there's a global pandemic and, no one's allowed to be within 6 feet of each other? Well, no one knows how bad this is going to be. And we're recommending people stay 6 feet away from everybody. Well, how's that even possible? And what about businesses? And that's why the market's tanked. And so anyway, we just haven't come to grips with it. I also think, how am I going to explain it to her?
Well, I mean, it's historically, don't they the sweating, the sickness, the plague, all this, where they had these, the Ebola flu, this is not the first pandemic, right?
And millions of people died.
Correct.
Right.
So,
it wasn't like no one died.
Yes.
They said the house was falling and 6 people died. Millions of people died.
Yeah. If you go back in history and look at all this stuff, this happened, and
right. But what was so bizarre about it was you got deathly ill and died.
Mm-hmm.
I was fine.
Right.
And we were in the same room.
Right.
So explain that, right? How do you figure that out? Is everyone argues their own point. My daughter died. Yeah, but my son's fine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then if you remember, do you remember in the very, very beginning, the guy who went to the daddy-daughter dance after his daughter got it?
Oh,
right?
Patient Zero.
She was traveling back from France. And she flew into Chicago and then took the train down. And she was the first patient in St. Louis to be diagnosed with COVID. And then the next night, he went to the daddy-daughter dance with his other daughter. And then people were just outraged over this guy. And then, he was like, I wasn't told. I would have done whatever I needed. I didn't know I was supposed to. No one told me. Mm-hmm. And so people were in a panic, right? I mean, it was sheer panic.
Well, and I can understand if people be upset, with Fauci, if there was misappropriation of funds or something. But the idea that some people would think that he literally woke up one morning going,
Yeah, he was a mad scientist.
I'm going to ruin that to me is okay, that's a bit extreme. Let's come back and let's do some middle ground here.
Right.
He might not be perfect. Whatever. But Holly's statement of you are literally the worst. That's, in my opinion, you lose total credibility there because that's such an embellishment. At least be more.
That whole thing was performance art. That whole thing was a show. It wasn't. They don't want the answers.
Right.
They weren't looking for answers for the guy. They were looking to embarrass the guy
and make him say anything.
Right. It was performance. It wasn't an investigation to find out. What we all would like is, what are the answers? What did happen? What should we do next time? We're not going to find that because it's become so politicized and you're not allowed to, ultimately seek the right answer. You have to decide what the answer is and then go find the evidence that's going to support your political agenda. Right. So another unfortunate thing about this day and age. But I've often said, how do you explain this to somebody? How do you explain this to your daughter? Tell me about when I was born. Okay, well, no one was allowed to come and visit, and we all had to wear masks.
Well, I mean, it was a pandemic. It was a sickness that was killing people, and we needed to address it, and this is how we did it.
Well, so I went to the store, and I decided that we needed, split pea soup for the next 7 years because I didn't want my 6-year-old daughter to starve during the nuclear fallout because that was where this was going.
And we hoarded toilet paper.
Right.
And we didn't have a wooden desk to hide underneath.
Right. And in China, they were burning money. They were afraid the money was
tainted.
The virus could live on the money. So they were burning cash in China. You would wipe down Amazon packages. You couldn't go. I mean, it was in the early days. You had no idea.
Right.
So the whole thing was heartbreaking. And I don't really want to go back and relive it, which is another reason why, it is what it is. 646 St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw 70 East is open again at Wentzville Parkway after being closed for about 20 minutes due to debris in the road. Traffic is still slow back to Forest Dell. And checking some drive times, it's 10 minutes from 270 and 55 up to Manchester. It takes 9 minutes to go from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson, and just 7 minutes from 170 and St. Charles Rock Road down to 64. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a First Alert weather day for Friday as we're on guard for any severe storms in the late afternoon and evening hours Friday. But there is a chance of rain earlier in the day, so some scattered showers in the morning to afternoon, a low of 70, a high of 83 in the afternoon. And then we'll watch for that isolated severe storm or two, especially in the evening hours for the St. Louis Metro. Saturday has a chance for some scattered showers, lots of clouds, and a cool day for August, 78 for the high on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy, slim chance for a spot shower or two, otherwise a high of 80. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
Dents Express is where you want to go to get your car fixed. Dents Express, DentsExpressSTL.com. Family run, Gray, Wilson, good man. Great family as well. I had a chance to meet them at the 30th anniversary party. They came up and we had a great conversation. Look, they specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision. They've got two convenient locations. One's in Baldwin, one is in St. Charles. And all they ask is that you make an appointment. That's it. The KTRS listeners who've gone to get their car fixed at Dents Express come back and tell me they are thrilled. That little ding, that little dent, that thing that scratch along the way, somebody keys your car, you get some hail damage, you got a little minor collision, it's driving you crazy every time you see the car, and you want to get it fixed. Happens every day. Dents Express has been doing this for 30 years. The expertise, the know-how, again, the institutional memory inside Dents Express will make sure when you get the car back, you won't even know that it was worked on. You won't even know where the ding and the dent was to begin with. Dents Express. Make an appointment. They'll handle everything else, including all of your insurance stuff. DentsExpressSTL.com.
The Big 550 KTRS is proud to be celebrating 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis and looking forward to another 30 years. But we want to hear from you and get your thoughts on what you like and don't like and what we can do better. Go to KTRS.com or to the KTRS app and take our 30th anniversary listener survey. We thank you in advance, and once you take the survey, you'll be registered for a chance to win one of 5 $200 Visa gift cards from the Big 550, the talk of St. Louis.
Kick off the school year with Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. Because with 20% off styles kids love, they're not just going back, they're making an entrance. Save on jeans that turn hallways into runways. Tees that make them walk a little slower for effect. Sneakers that say, I'm so back. And more confidence-inspiring looks for every grade at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, 20% offer ends August 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on. And that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Hi, it's Julie Buck to tell you about a trusted family business that I've been working with for years, Easter Fence and Deck. Chuck Easter and his family have been the go-to fence and deck company in the St. Louis area for more than 70 years. And when it comes to sunrooms, Easter Fence and Deck offers the top-of-the-line Better Living sunrooms that are absolutely spectacular. When it comes to fences, decks, and sunrooms, I would invite you to do what my family has done for years and trust the family-owned Easter Fence and Deck online at easterfence.com.
Live from Studio 550, this is the McGraw Show on
There is a fascinating article in the Post-Dispatch this morning. You remember Dominion voting machines? Dominion, right? That was at the center of the controversy of 2020. They were the ones who sued Fox News and had a $780 million settlement, defamation lawsuit against Fox because of all of the misinformation that Fox was spreading on the network. That Fox agreed to pay $787 million. It ruined the career of journalists and talk show hosts and Tucker Carlson and everybody else. Well, that company ultimately sold. They were done after being vilified as public enemy number one. They took their money and said, "Look, we're done with this," and they sold it. And they sold it to a St. Louisan. Of course, they did. Scott Lindecker. And Scott Lindecker is now running Dominion, but he bought it, changed the name of it, and is continuing to sort of be on the front lines of like election security and everything. It's an amazing story how he was able to revolutionize. He was one of the biggest vendors of Dominion, and when they were thinking of selling, they went to him and said, "Look, you're one of our biggest vendors. You're one of our biggest. We're using a lot of your stuff, and we work closely together on a lot of different things. Would you be interested?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So he bought it, changed the name, obviously, because the name was so politically toxic, and it was based out of St. Louis. And what's interesting about this is he is a Republican, or was a Republican, and came up through a Republican circles, and then sort of switched over into elections, and has worked with all sorts of let me see here, his background here. I mean, he's so worried about his employees. He asked, don't put our names in the paper. Don't put our employees' pictures in the paper. His office in Creve Coeur doesn't have any logos on it. So you drive by it, you don't know where the company is. It's all in the paper. It's not like I'm outing the guy. But he, I believe let's see. His chief strategy officer was a spokesman and campaign manager for former GOP governor of Missouri, Mike Parson. His chief operating officer was tapped by a Republican, Mike Keogh, to lead the transition of the St. Louis Police Department from the city to the state. He worked with Ed Martin, apparently, in the election offices in the city when Ed Martin, who is now at the Justice Department and President Trump's pardon attorney. So it's not like he's, but anyway, it's an interesting article about how he's made elections safer, more secure, run more smoothly through some of the innovative and technology things that he's brought to the world. And he's right here in St. Louis. So Dominion was sold to a St. Louis guy, which I knew they sold, but I didn't know the ties to St. Louis. But really, really interesting. So anyway, as we head towards Election Day, these Dominion voting machines are no longer Dominion. But the guy's now from St. Louis. Thought it was kind of interesting. 6:57 here, Big 550 KTRS, STLtoday.com if you're interested. It's a really interesting story. Captain Paul Kopsky, St. Louis Clouds and Company Traffic Center.
McGraw 70 East is moving well again between Forestville and Wentzville Parkway after some debris was removed at Wentzville Parkway. And taking a look at a few drive times, it's a 10-minute ride from 270 and 55 to Manchester, 9 minutes to go from 64 and McKnight to Jefferson, and it takes just 7 minutes from 170 and St. Charles Rock Road down to 64. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Clouds and Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
This company that bought Dominion, it was got startup funding from the Arch grants. They now have 160 employees. 60 of them are based here in Missouri. If you see a no ink polling pad, including those in St. Louis City and St. Louis, St. Charles, Jefferson, and Lincoln, that's the company. That no inks poll pad. That's the iPad that you use when you go and vote. That's all theirs. Pretty extraordinary stuff. 6:58 here, Big 550 KTRS. Coming up next hour, Stephen Portnoy's got the latest on the Todd Blanche nomination. And Peter Harlambu's got the story of a hair that was found in Nancy Guthrie's home is not linked to a suspect in the missing case of Nancy Guthrie. I wonder, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's part of the family or a friend or a neighbor or something, but whatever the hair they found was of no use in terms of any evidence to come to a conclusion as to what actually happened to this poor woman. So Peter Harlambus has got all of that next hour, plus all of your pithy and interesting text messages along the way. Weather for the next couple of days. We've got a little bit of a reprieve here. Temperature is going to be 84 degrees today. They're calling for some rain and thunderstorms throughout the day. It'll be a high of 84, and they're calling for up to a quarter of an inch of rain. Some thunderstorms during the evening will give way to partly cloudy skies overnight. Some of the storms overnight could be severe. Low of 69. Tomorrow, rain and cloudiness with occasional rain showers throughout the day. Tomorrow, high of 71. Sunday, they're calling for a high of 79. And then Monday, when we're all back to work, it's a high of 83. It is 72 right now at the Big 550 KTRS. Tonight, it is the Sandlot, Westport Plaza. Starts at the painting and the face painting and the concessions start at 6. Stage show starts at 7, and the credits start at 7:05. So you need to be in your seat with your popcorn at 7:45 for the Sandlot. Bring a new unwrapped toy to help with Catholic Charities. They'll be on hand to collect. Free family movie night tonight at Westport, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. 7 o'clock, KTRS St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The details coming from Hamas and Israel are slim, but ABC Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz says there could be a major deal in Gaza.
President Trump announcing U.S. negotiators have reached a deal with Hamas to lay down its weapons and relinquish its control over Gaza. U.S. officials who briefed reporters late last night say Hamas has agreed to disarm and transfer power in Gaza as long as Israel withdraws from the Strip. The proposed move, part of a peace deal announced by President Trump and his newly formed Board of Peace.
The Iran war now in its 6th month, and it turns out the conflict has been very profitable for oil companies. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
As consumers face the pain at the pump, the nation's major oil and gas companies are celebrating massive profits, also a byproduct of the U.S.-Iran conflict. ExxonMobil reported second quarter profits of $14.5 billion, up 105% from the same period a year ago. Chevron's profit from April to June was nearly quadruple the second quarter of 2025.
At least 34 migrants have died trying to reach Spain from Morocco. Some 60,000 people rushing to enter Spain's Ceuta enclave over the past 24 hours, equivalent to 70% of the city's regular population. Border forces clashing with migrants. No word on what sparked the rush of people. Immigration officials have been clashing. A dangerous heat dome settling in over the west. ABC meteorologist Sam Champion.
All-time August heat, possible in Vegas, also possible in Billings. Guys, August is just starting tomorrow, so this would be the warmest they'd ever seen in August.
Oregon could be facing its worst fire season on record. Firefighters in southwestern France working to control the last hot spots of that massive blaze there. It's burned an area 4 times the size of Paris. You're listening to ABC News.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say McGraw, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say McGraw, and let the savings begin.
Every punt, every sack, every touchdown.
Touchdown, Mizzou!
Find all of Mizzou Tigers football action right here on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
75 degrees at 7:03. Here's what's happening now. More information is being released about the couple who was found murdered in Guatemala after being deported from the St. Louis area. Nixon Perez Paz and his wife Glendy Gonzalez de la Cruz were found shot to death in a sugarcane field earlier this month. Police found the couple's 14-month-old daughter Giovanni lying beside their parents' bodies. The infant survived, though she was severely dehydrated. There were reports that Perez Paz was convicted twice for drunk driving. However, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports no drunken driving records for him appear in Missouri's court database. A public vigil will be held tomorrow night at 6 at Overland City Hall to pay tribute to the family and raise awareness for immigrant rights. An arrest has been made in the murder of a Ferguson mother. Police say a suspect was taken into custody in the death of 35-year-old Shaquila Martin. Martin was shot and killed at a Ferguson BP gas station on June 30th while walking back to her vehicle with 2 of her children. The suspect's name is being withheld pending charges. A former St. Louis TV news anchor has been ruled competent to stand trial for the murder of her mother in Kansas. 48-year-old Angeline Mock is charged with intentional and premeditated first-degree murder in the death of 80-year-old Anita Avers. Prosecutors say Mock stabbed her mother to death at a Wichita home last Halloween. Mock, who previously worked as a TV news anchor reporter for Fox 2 from 2011 to 2015, is jailed on $1 million bond. The city of St. Louis is releasing an after-action review documenting the city's first activation of Code Blue during the 25-26 winter season. The Code Blue program expanded warming and shelter-related services for unhoused residents through community partnerships, and the AAR showcases successes and opportunities for improvement during future winter seasons. Key findings show over $3 million in funds designated towards the Code Blue effort were sufficient to shelter most of the individuals who requested emergency shelter during the winter months. At peak capacity, the system brought on over 700 overflow shelter beds across most regions of City of St. Louis, and rally points and pickup points placed in targeted areas were instrumental in assisting over 500 unique persons into shelters. An anniversary celebration is planned in Alton for acclaimed jazz musician Miles Davis. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has the story.
The Alton Amphitheater will commemorate the 100th anniversary of Alton native Miles Davis at the Alton Jazz and Wine Festival next month. The evening will feature jazz music, wine, and food vendors, all celebrating the legacy of one of the world's great music innovators. Davis was born in Alton in 1926 and changed the course of jazz by continually reinventing it. Headlining the festival will be acclaimed Virginia collective Butcher Brown. The festival celebrating Davis is Saturday, August 29th from 6 to 10 p.m. Event information is available on the Alton Amphitheater website and Facebook page. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
The state of Missouri is seeing fewer initial unemployment claims. The Missouri Department of Labor reports there were nearly 2,500 initial claims filed during the week ending on July 25th. That marks a drop of nearly 350 claims from the previous week. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. 75 degrees. Time now is 7:06. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News.
All right. What do we got going on here? 7:06 here, Big 550 KTRS. This article is just fascinating in the Post-Dispatch. Really, really, really interesting about this company that's here in St. Louis. Really interesting stuff. All right. 7:07 here, Big 550 KTRS. Coming up this hour, we've got Stephen Portnoy. Trump floats the temporary withdrawal of Todd Blanche. This story, I think, is so interesting. John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, two senators who haven't decided to vote for Todd Blanche, two Republicans, and so it's stalled. It's not going to go through. Trump's saying, "Well, we'll just wait till they're out next winter, and we'll get it through then." There's an old political science teacher who taught me this, and I've seen it play out over and over again. He said to me, "You never wanted to be the one vote, right? You never wanted to be the one which something passes or something fails. You always want at least two people because you can deflect the criticism. You're not the one that didn't get the thing passed, right? You're not the one that voted against it. You never wanted to be John McCain, who everyone waits for John McCain to go thumbs up, thumbs down on the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, right? As a politician, you don't want to be there. You don't want to take all the blame or all the credit. You want to share it. And so the fact that Tom Tillis and John Cornyn together are in this means, right, you can't blame John Cornyn because you still don't have Tom Tillis. You can't blame Tom Tillis because you still don't have John Cornyn. So that's one. Two, John Cornyn's comments yesterday are kind of interesting in that he said, look, and I'm paraphrasing here, but President Trump better be careful because I don't think he'll have a more sympathetic Senate in the future. I don't know this to be true, but it's pretty good bet that this is what's going on, is that the Republicans don't want to pass this, don't want Todd Blanche, or at least want some type of assurances that Trump doesn't get to cheat on his taxes for the rest of his life, okay? Not a high bar anymore, but we are where we are. And so they want him to put in writing that, Donald Trump and his family doesn't, will remain, just like the rest of us, that if we get caught cheating on taxes, right, you have to write this out so we know that going forward, President Trump doesn't get any special treatment from the IRS. And Todd Blanche won't do it. So you can assume that there are other Republicans who are also don't want this to go through. But they don't want to say that publicly and draw the ire of the president. So John Cornyn and Tom Tillis are the ones leading the charge. Right? They're the ones who are
not up for re-election.
Carrying the water for the others, right? And so that's once they're gone, then next person up in January to throw a wrench in this. So it's interesting how they're trying to navigate the waters. John Cornyn and Tom Tillis are sort of right. They're going to pounce on the grenade. They'll take the criticism together. And then if they go away, then other people, other Republicans, if they still have the majority in the Senate, are going to figure out a way to not nominate Todd Blanche until they sign off on this ridiculous slush fund and this idea that President Trump and his family are immune from any type of prosecution on their taxes going forward. So that, again, that's just sort of pure speculation on my part, but with a lot of facts in there to sort of, you could argue that that's the case. Anyway, we'll talk to Stephen Portnoy about that coming up here in a bit. And then Peter's got the Nancy Guthrie story. Will Gann's talking Spider-Man. We got a busy show. Steve Savard is going to be on to congratulate him on the news that he is the new anchor for Channel 5 on your side. St. Charles Steve Ellman's going to be along. They've just done away with the property tax in St. Charles County. Yeah, that should be a much bigger story. Randy Carricker going to talk a little sports. And then Frank and Jill take over at 10. So there you go. Anything else? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller?
I told you someone at Starbucks, you gave him that name, put Bueller on their Starbucks cup so that the person had to go,
yeah,
Bueller. And then he left. That was, so I ordered a coffee, put Bueller on it, and ran away.
That's worth $8.
Right?
That is just, what's that random acts of kindness where you just do that and you put a smile on somebody's face?
That is fantastic. Like, how can you?
It's never happened to me, but I've heard where people, like, you go through the fast food line and you say, I'm paying for the guy's order behind me.
It's like, well, good luck. You just bought a Crave case, 2 boxes of, oh, wait, never mind.
I mean, that's such a great random act of kindness.
Yeah, has it ever I wonder if that's, has that ever happened to anybody?
Never happened to me. No.
Have you ever done that to anybody?
No, not really. No, I really don't. No. But I do. But no, I'm nice to people. I've done,
Right.
I will say this, though. You drive around town and you see these unhoused or homeless people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you right there on the side of the exit or the whatever. I mean, it's heartbreaking. But you have a 6-year-old in the back of this car. And she says, "Daddy, what's going on?" And so she's getting to that point where she's aware enough to ask the question, but yet trying to sort of, explain to her what's going on. The other day we got into the car and the news was on and some reporter said something and she said, "Daddy, is the war over?" I'm like, "How do you even know what is that?" She's like, "Well, why are they fighting?" And I was like, "How do you even begin to explain, Israel and Iran and the fighting that's going on?" Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning, right? I mean, it's crazy.
My parents told a story, like in 1970 something. I asked them where Cambodia was,
right?
Because it was always on the news. I'm like, "Where's that?"
Yeah, I mean, how do you even begin to explain homelessness to this woman, to this girl, and then say, "Daddy, she says, "Daddy, can we take them home?" And and I'm like, well, there are places for them to go. Well, why don't we just give them money so they can go and and you're like, well, they're not going to use the money for what they're going to and it's a whole rabbit hole.
Does it seem like it's more did it used to be illegal and then because it just seems like it's so much more rampant now, the panhandling, like it's at every intersection in the city. Always, constantly. And I don't remember it being like that.
All across the country, there's a massive homeless problem.
Well, I know that, but I mean, like the panhandling in the middle of intersections, like it just seems, I just don't remember. They have a
constitutional right to stand there and ask for money.
And I think it's even coming up too, though, like on ballots, like the panhandling, because the people, it's not so much as like, we want the unhoused out. It's dangerous, in the sense that they're in the middle of intersections. And like, I feel like it's one, like, ask for money, that's fine, but like, when you're creating dangerous situations because you're in the middle of intersections.
Yeah, I get it. Usually they're off on the sidewalk,
usually
on a bucket with a hand sign.
No, now
or something.
They're walking. I mean,
I get it. And it's a stop sign, and they go walking up and down. And I get it.
They're just straight up chilling in the middle of turn lanes and things. Like it's.
No, I get it. I get it. It's a thing. No, it's a real thing. But they have a constitution. I think the courts have ruled. Think of it all the way up to the Supreme Court. They ruled that. Because people have tried to curtail them and whatever, but they have a constitutional right to stand on a street corner and ask for money. And your heart breaks for them because they're clearly in the middle of a, situation. But you can't, giving them money doesn't solve that problem.
No, and it's the same.
I mean, it assuages your guilt, in for a moment, right? It makes you feel good, and I'm not against that, but all the homeless advocates say you're not helping the situation. They're not going to.
Well, right, because a lot of it's the same people every single day, right?
They're just looking for enough money to go get their drugs or their alcohol or
while
whatever.
they're smoking a cigarette on their phone, asking for, you know what I mean? It's like, okay.
It's heartbreaking. It is utterly heartbreaking. But when the 6-year-old in the back of the car asks you, "Daddy, what's going on?" Where do you how do you even begin to tell that story so she'll understand? 7:16 here, Big 550 KTRS. Captain Paul Kopsky, St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center.
There's an accident on 44 East before Six Flags, blocking the 2 left lanes. 61 South is slow approaching Route A to the 6470 interchange in Wentzville. And 270 North is running without delays from South County to Town and Country. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. woodsbasementsystems.com.
Weakening showers and a few thunder showers could have an impact in spots this morning before fading midday into the afternoon. But look out for another round of storms likely late this afternoon into this evening. And some of that second round could be strong to severe with gusty winds, maybe even an isolated tornado. Turning steamy before that happens, though, this afternoon with a high of 84. Storms make way for scattered showers overnight tonight, down to 69 for the low. And it is unseasonably cool and mostly cloudy Saturday. Scattered showers from time to time tomorrow with a high of only 76. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's talk Stewart at Stewart's American Mortgage. Talked to him yesterday. Interest rates ticked up earlier in the week, and then I guess they came back down yesterday. Doesn't matter whatever they are. Of course it matters, but when you shop the rates, it's sort of a fool's errand because the rates are dictated by so many other things that are out of our control and out of the control of the mortgage banker or the mortgage broker. At Stewart's American Mortgage, first of all, it's top-notch customer service, so that's one. But two, whatever the rate is, they're all virtually the same. What's different are the fees. So the customer service and the fees. Somebody might charge you $9,000 for the same thing Stewart will charge you $0 for. So why would you go somewhere that's going to charge you $9,000 when somebody else will charge you nothing? Assuming everything else being equal. The rates are going to be the same, but the customer service and the attention to detail and all that, that's why Stewart's been so respected and the largest mortgage banker and mortgage broker here in the region for, the last 10, 15 years. Stewart'sAMC.com. That's the website. Grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, listen. The kids are trying to buy a house. They've trying to scrimp, trying to save. Every little nickel counts. How about an extra $9,000 in their pocket? Yes. How do you do that? Tell them about Stewart at Stewart's American Mortgage. If you're refinancing, yes, you can apply for that. You can apply for that bagel loan, but with interest rates being elevated, call Stewart. He'll run the numbers. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, he'll tell you, look, it doesn't make sense. But refinancing is not the big boom that it was because the rates are elevated. But everyone's got to buy a house. If you're buying the house, you got to talk to Stewart. 314-324-4440 or Stewart'sAMC.com.
This is the McGraw Show on KTRS.
$7:20. Let's check in with Stephen Portnoy, ABC News national correspondent. The Todd Blanche nomination gets more trickier by the moment. Stephen Portnoy, what's the latest?
The latest is there's now this continued, describe it as a game of chicken between the president and Republican senators on Todd Blanche's nomination for the attorney general. Who's going to blink first? I think it's important to underscore the fact that Todd Blanche is, all roads lead to him continuing to lead the Department of Justice because he is, yes, he's the nominee to be attorney general, but he's also the Senate confirmed deputy attorney general. and leading the agency in an acting capacity as not only its number two, but also as the president's nominee. And even if the president follows through with the talk concluded yesterday of withdrawing Blanche's nomination, he would still be the acting attorney general as the deputy. The president, in theory, could leave the top post vacant, not just through the end of the year or the start of the new Congress, but perhaps through the end of his term. And really what's at stake here is the advice and consent power of the Senate. Because the Republicans, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the holdouts, Tom Tillis and John Cornyn, along with others who have expressed concerns out of the committee, Bill Cassidy, those are enough votes to prevent Blanche's confirmation. But how this gets resolved in a way that preserves the Senate's constitutional role and also gives the president what he wants, I'm not sure they're going to be able to meet in this. So I'm going to have to blame.
Is there any rules as to how long somebody can be an acting attorney general until that somebody has to be confirmed?
Generally, yes. That rule is 210 days. They're sort of overlapping statutes. Federal Reform Act, that's a ticking clock that is paused when there is a nomination that's been made. It's complicated by the fact that the person who otherwise would run the department as deputy attorney general happens to be the nominee to be the attorney general. And when you have the same person in both capacities, the idea that the nominee may be rejected still leaves you with that same guy as the backup. And I don't know that there's a limit on another, that is to say, because Blanche has already been confirmed by the Senate for that deputy role, he is the backup. And he's also the acting attorney general. I don't see a circumstance where the law would require him to step aside and for someone else to come in. Maybe I'm misreading it, but that's how I see it.
So you're saying that even if the vote is taken and he fails, he can still remain acting deputy while Donald Trump stalls and doesn't nominate anybody else and just keeps him as deputy attorney general for as long as his administration is in there.
I struggle to see any other requirement, which is to say that the president has there's nothing to compel him to name anybody. He could leave that post vacant and have the Justice Department running under the deputy who has been Senate confirmed.
Even if the Democrats take over in January, the Democrats would be powerless to stop Todd Blanche from being acting deputy or acting attorney general for the rest of Trump's term.
Now, what the Congress could do, I mean, this is really, if we want to get into the theory here, the Congress could impeach the deputy attorney general and then force a trial on his removal, which would require a 2/3 vote,
right?
Which I don't think you'd get. So there are checks and balances here, but I think that, to use a Trumpism, I think the president holds the cards.
Interesting. What does John Cornyn and Tom Tillis want Todd Blanche to put into writing?
They wanted in writing that the anti-weaponization fund is dead. Something that Blanche has said aloud and that he has refused to this point to put in writing. There's back and forth now on that issue and a sort of a corollary to it, which is the sweeping grant of immunity from tax audits that Blanche has given to the president and his family members and his businesses. And there's some concern that that may be written so broadly that it's much more sweeping than what Blanche has described as rather standard in tax litigation involving people who sue the IRS. This is, to a very clear degree unprecedented when it comes to the man who sits atop the executive branch, having both sides of the argument, being able to direct or whisper or indicate to his former personal lawyer that he should have this protection. And Democrats are very concerned about it, but no one seems to know what exactly to do about it other than to draw public attention to it. And, you've got the demands that Republican senators are making that there be this change. But again, that the power in the executive branch under the law for Blanche to remain in the role, even if he's not confirmed, gives him more leverage. And so, again, I have to describe it as a game of chicken where, there are other things the Senate could do if it really feels strongly enough about it to kind of sort of make life more difficult for the executive branch. But when it comes to this particular role, the president does have the power of appointment and has named Todd Blanche, who, again, the Senate has already given up its leverage over Blanche having confirmed him as deputy. So there's really, I don't know how these Republican senators think they're going to prevail here, especially since the president, as late as this morning, insisting, if you read his social media post, that this fund is worthwhile. And yesterday, the Republican holdouts said that whatever objections there were to reaching some sort of accommodation here were coming from the White House. They didn't say it was coming from the president himself, but I mean, clearly somebody is representing the president's views on this, because as you read a social media post this morning, he affirms his view that this anti-weaponization fund should exist.
Yeah. Talk about this immunity he would get from future IRS audits.
Well, you say future IRS audits. It's sort of actually backward looking. It was from the date of the settlement of the litigation, all of which stemmed from the fact that someone at the IRS or a contractor for the IRS leaked Trump's tax information. And so that gave him a reason to sue his own administration. The judge who's overseen that case in Florida has blasted the parties in this, the president and the executive branch and the president's personal lawyer, saying that essentially they've cooked up this arrangement where they have both sides of the case. And that's not how the law is supposed to work. It's supposed to be adversarial. But nevertheless, there's only so much that this judge can do. She's referred this to the New York bar, suggesting that there should be some sort of sanctions applied to the attorneys involved in this, including Blanche. But that's all the judge, for the moment, it's all she can seem to do.
Yeah, but the deal wouldn't protect Trump and his family from future audits, just past audits?
Well, it would prevent the IRS from engaging in an audit of the period of time dating to, several years. I mean, essentially, if starting here in mid-2026, if a future IRS decided that it wanted to audit Trump's tax returns starting today, in theory it could. But the way I read it is it's sort of backward looking.
Gotcha. Interesting. Stephen Portnoy, a lot to unpack there. Thank you for keeping it straight for us. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thanks, man.
You bet.
You got it. Stephen Portnoy, best in the business. Peter Harlambous, right after bottom of the hour news, talk about the hair they found in Nancy Guthrie's home that is not linked to anything. Apparently, no news coming out of Nancy Guthrie's case. We'll talk about it. St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, we are accident-free despite some rain in parts of the area. 61 South is slow, though, approaching Route A to the 6470 interchange in Wentzville, and we have no other issues on the roads. Even 270 North is running without delays from South County to Town and Country. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
75 degrees here at the Big 550 KTRS. We got some rain in the forecast. Here's what we got going on here. Rain in the forecast for today. Some could be severe, up to maybe a quarter of an inch in some places. High of 84. Overnight tonight, more thunderstorms. Continue overnight, low of 68. Tomorrow, we've got a high of 71 with plenty of clouds and occasional rain showers. 72 right now, 7:30. Let's go to the newsroom. Here's Rose Dalton.
This newscast is brought to you by Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. Thousands of survivors of a powerful earthquake in southwestern Japan are in crowded shelters or sleeping in cars as they face shortages of water and fuel and punishing summer temperatures that have stoked fears of heat-related illness. Meanwhile, the death toll has risen to 34. President Donald Trump says he may withdraw and delay Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General until Republican senators who are seeking concessions from the top prosecutor leave office. Trump doubled down Thursday on choosing his former personal lawyer as the nation's top lawman, calling him a star, and saying he will keep him in the role as acting Attorney General until Republican Senators John Cornyn of Texas and Thom Tillis of North Carolina leave office next year. In local headlines, ahead of the August 4th primary election, the offices of the election board on North Tucker will be open for in-person, no-excuse early voting on Saturday. Voters can come in any time from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Anna Clydesdale has joined the St. Louis Police Force. The department announced that Captain is now part of the Mounted Patrol Unit. Are you or a family member turning 65? And are you happy with your current plan? For the right plan, call the Medicare man, Ryan Raphael, at 314-368-6808. 76 degrees. Time now is 7:31. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Beatty Roofing is one of the first families when it comes to roofing names here in St. Louis. They got started in 1950 by their grandfather. And the dad took over in 1992, and then Matt took over in the 2010s. That's a long time. Beatty Roofing. They were known as one of the big four. They did the big commercial jobs here in town, everything from the Science Center to the Lambert Airport to the Convention Center, right? Those are some big jobs, and you get those contracts when you're buttoned up. Well, you get those jobs when you know what you're doing. You get those jobs when you are the cream of the crop, and Beatty Roofing is the cream of the crop. They now have focused their attention and opened up a residential side of Beatty Roofing. And so that same great expertise, that commitment to excellence, that cut above is now focused on the residential market. So if you need a roofer, stay away from those storm chasers that you can see on the Doppler as the storms come. You can see the out-of-towners gearing up to come in to start knocking on your door to start taking all of our money. You want to make sure it's local, and that's Beatty. Beatty will be a big supporter of local charities. These out-of-towners will not. Beatty is a big supporter of first responders. These out-of-towners are not. They will protect your home and do it right at Beatty Roofing. 314-892-1331. Got some storms coming up over the weekend. If you find your house damaged, your roof damaged, BeattyRoofing.com.
Looking for a great local restaurant recommendation? Missy Mo. Tune in to the Kuno Food Service weekly special during the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Hear from the best of the best restaurant owners in town. Only on the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Presented by Kuno Food Service, right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Hey, thanks, Farmer Dave. We didn't get the nickname the St. Louis Corvette Kings by accident. We've specialized in Corvettes for over 30 years, and I need more. You have one for sale, especially C6, C7, and Classic Corvettes. I'm an immediate buyer for very clean, low-mile examples. Hop on our site, mastercarsinc.com, or give us a call to submit what you have. We'll even come to you if we have to. Owe money on it? Don't worry. We'll make the payoff and pay your equity right on the spot. This has been a fantastic Corvette summer, and I want to keep it rolling.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit mastercarsinc.com to get more details. That's mastercarsinc.com.
This is the McGraw Show on KT.
$7:35 here, Big 550 KTRS. Peter Harlambos, a busy day for you, busy week for you this week. Nancy Guthrie in the news all week. Savannah Guthrie releasing another statement earlier in the week. And now, what do we know about this hair that they found inside her home?
Yeah, good morning. That hair ultimately not really leading to any promising leads here's the latest setback in this investigation. Sheriff Chris Nandos told us yesterday that basically they've completed forensic testing on that hair, and it doesn't point to a suspect. That leaves only one other genetic sample, a mixed sample of as many as 4 people that experts are skeptical will lead to anything. And this comes just after really bad week in a way for the sheriff's office. They were sued for about $3 million for that arrest, a few of the arrests they did early in the investigation that went nowhere. And they continue to be in this kind of public bickering fight with the FBI director, Kash Patel, who called them out yet again last night on social media.
What do we know about the hair other than it's not a suspect? Was it Nancy Guthrie's? Was it Savannah? Was it the HVAC guy? Do we know anything about the hair?
Yeah, Sheriff Nandos didn't tell us too much about what the testing actually concluded other than just saying, quote, the hair was done, there was nothing. That's what he told my colleague, Aaron Kapirsky, yesterday in an interview, suggesting that basically they're out of options. The only other genetic material they found in the house that they could test ultimately seems unlikely to lead to anything just because it's just too complicated for experts to kind of unbraid. And then, of course, this also comes as Kash Patel is basically criticizing the sheriff's office for not taking advantage of the FBI's resources, basically Kash Patel criticizing them for using a private DNA testing lab rather than using Quantico, which he says could have been doing the work faster and more effectively.
Is that why it took 6 months? Because they used a private DNA lab?
Honestly, it doesn't seem like it could have been done that much faster. The private lab they're doing, for what it's worth, is one of the best in the country. We've seen them used in other cases. For example, it was the same DNA lab in the Kohlberger case that led to the big break there. It's the same DNA lab that we're seeing the Murdaugh family wanting to use in that retrial. They actually filed a motion yesterday to begin genetic testing of new material in that case. So it's not like they're dealing with a bad genetics lab. It's just that this takes a while because ultimately, when you're talking about these somewhat incomplete samples, it's really difficult to kind of nail down what exactly it is and then trace it back to an individual. So that contributes to the amount of time it took. And of course, all of this coming 6 months after the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And as you mentioned, we heard, another plea from Savannah Guthrie earlier this week where she basically said that they're in a nightmare that won't end and begging the public to come forward if they know absolutely anything about what happened to her mother. Of course, we believe at this point that she was killed. She was buried somewhere. They have no idea, though, where that burial place would be.
Did the Pima County Sheriff give any indication they've got anything working, any ray of hope in any way, shape, or form?
He reiterated this thing he's been saying from day one of this investigation, that the investigation is active and ongoing. But other than that, no. And he hasn't really specified what other work his team might be doing. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of active detective work, for example, going on. And all things considered, it seems like at this point, the case has simply gone cold, especially now that this really one viable lead that we've seen since the early days in the investigation just hasn't panned out.
Really, really one of the more bizarre stories. This woman just up and vanishes and virtually no evidence. You have a strange video of the doorbell ring, which they found out of nowhere right after they said it was taken. They were able to find that, and that's the only thing of this strange man no one's ever seen before or since, and nothing else. It is one of the more bizarre stories we've ever seen.
Yeah, and especially when you consider the fact of how many resources have been put into this. It's really kind of disheartening when you think that, the entire effort from the sheriff's office, dozens, if not hundreds of FBI agents assigned to this case, they rushed resources to this. The president of the United States vowed, total dedication of the FBI's resources here. And it just hasn't led anywhere. It's kind of shocking that in 2026, in the age of immense forensic evidence, in the age of huge digital footprints and, cameras basically everywhere and on every other house, they cannot nail down a suspect or even have a rough idea what would have happened. There's a terrifying idea that this could happen to someone so prominent, let alone what would happen to someone who doesn't come with the same degree of publicity and doesn't demand the same amount of law enforcement support.
Peter Haralambous, ABC News. Great stuff all week. We value your insight and your reporting. Have yourself a good weekend. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much.
You got it. Peter Harlambus, ABC News. It's one of the saddest stories you'll ever hear. This poor woman gets abducted in the middle of her home, in the middle of the night, and vanishes. Nothing. There's nothing. And then a week later, they're like, oh, here's this weird person knocking on her door. And no one's ever seen this guy before. No one's ever seen this guy since. You know, you think even though you can't see the guy's face, people would say, oh, that's, you know, that guy walks like Bob. That guy walks like, oh, I know that guy, right? Nothing. Nobody's seen this guy. Nobody's made any sort of connection. He looks like my uncle. He looks like my brother. He walks like that guy I knew years ago. Nothing.
And it's in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And there's no other video of this guy.
Yeah, and no body, no forensic, no nothing. Just upped and vanished. It's real. I mean, it's of all these cases that have, you know, come and gone and everything else, this one, just nothing to go on.
It'll get solved. It's just going to take a long time. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those cases that 7 years ago, and you know what I mean? It's just
you think we're just gonna wake up one day and all of a sudden it's gonna be, hey,
not to be gory,
there's
but
a break in the Nancy Guthrie case.
They'll find remains or something, you know, because a lot of times, a lot of these, I guess you can't really call it cold yet, but a lot of these cold cases come up because somebody calls in a tip or somebody finally, you know what I mean? A lot of it is based on, you know, somebody knows something.
They never found Jimmy Hoffa. Nah, I know that's a different world with no DNA and whatever else, but you know, now it's become a joke. But there's people who've been, you know, vanished and never to be heard from again, and no one ever. Now they're not as famous as, you know, Savannah Guthrie's mom, but it's sad. Starting this poor woman, man, she's got to go to work every day, and every 3 months she's got to send out another Instagram post of, you know, heartbreaking. Please help us. I mean, just the saddest story in the world. And again, I mean, what if you lived in that neighborhood? How do you live in that neighborhood, knowing that my neighbor was abducted in the middle of the night without a trace? I don't know. I mean, I don't have any answers, but crazy stuff. 7:43 here, Big 550 KTRS. Let's check traffic and weather. Captain Paul? You're in the St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center.
McGraw, there's a crash on 270 south at 44, blocking the 2 right lanes. Otherwise, 61 south is slow approaching Route A to the 6470 interchange. And we have no other issues on the roads. Even 270 north is running without delays from South County to Town and Country. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a First Alert weather day for Friday as we're on guard for any severe storms in the late afternoon and evening hours Friday. But there is a chance of rain earlier in the day, so some scattered showers in the morning to afternoon, a low of 70, a high of 83 in the afternoon. And then we'll watch for that isolated severe storm or two, especially in the evening hours for the St. Louis Metro. Saturday has a chance for some scattered showers, lots of clouds, and a cool day for August, 78 for the high on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy, slim chance for a spot shower or two, otherwise a high of 80. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
Jacob, baths and showers, 50 plus years. They got it going on. Look, lots of options when it comes to your bath, and lots of people think and say, oh, we'll do it fast, easy, and effective. So I get it. You're bombarded with all these commercials. But let's talk about Jacob for just a second. A lot of those places, they overlay the mold. So you've got a moldy this, you got a moldy that. They just sort of overlay it. And 20 minutes later, they're like, look at this. This is beautiful. But the mold is still there. At Jacob, they take everything out. They take it back down to the studs. then they rebuild it with style and design for the 21st century. Whether it's a walk-in, whether it's a low-threshold walk-in shower, seats, grab bars, the non-stick surface for the floor. They use composite materials that look like luxury stone and luxury tile. They do it without the care and the maintenance. It's guaranteed for life. They do it in 1 to 2 days. Pretty good deal. Go see for yourself and see why Jacob has been in this space for 50 years. You don't survive in this highly competitive bath remodeling space for 5 minutes if you don't do it right. They've been doing it for 50 years. So the drop-down menu on their website has the McGraw special, 2 locations, Fenton and in Fairview Heights. Price extremely reasonable. You're going to get a great price and aesthetically pleasing and a safe and stylish design at Jacob. Low maintenance too, by the way. And when it's all said and done, it's guaranteed for life. 1-800-222-6676 or jacobbaths.com.
Julius Krasanik here, celebrating 54 years in this industry. My family owns Wholesale Siding Depot. That's WSDepot.com. Our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, and door experience. My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
Tired of companies that like to apply pressure to sell you high-priced fiberglass or wood windows? We offer the Anderson Fibrex family of windows in styles and colors, including black, at wholesale prices. What are you waiting for? We sell truckloads of siding, windows, and doors from CertainTeed, Anderson, Viwinco, Provia, and other major brands, all at wholesale prices, while offering a free contractor referral service for your expert installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. Visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Drugs are true healers when we are ill, but they can destroy when abused. Instruct our young people about the hazards of drug abuse. This message is courtesy of KT Coatings, proudly serving our area with excellence. For all of your concrete, resurfacing, and epoxy flooring needs, call the pros at 636-357-3412. That's 636-357-3412. That's KT Coatings, on the air because they care.
Anne Marie here for my friends at Black Fox Cooper. Many homeowners live with old, drafty windows for years, thinking they can put it off until later. But once they replace them with new Andersen windows, they can't believe the difference. Their homes are quieter, more comfortable, and more energy efficient, and the curb appeal is dramatically improved. Black Fox Cooper helps homeowners understand their options and select the right Andersen windows for their home and budget. Do it today, not tomorrow. Call 314-270-1484, online at blackfoxcooper.com. Black Fox Cooper, your local Andersen certified contractor.
McGraw, live in the morning on KTRS. Love Mizzou football. Your home of the Mizzou Tigers. KTRS St. Louis.
Imagine being in Athens, Georgia in early 80s and you walk into a college bar and REM is just hanging out playing. You're like, this band is really good.
I heard they got a record.
That'd be awesome.
Right? That's how it. Right? That he's from what?
Collinsville.
Collinsville, and went down to college in Atlanta, Georgia, or Athens, and met his buddies, and they started a band. And
Bill Berry is 68 years old today.
Changed the world. REM.
Right? You just stumble into a bar like, what? Oh.
Right.
Oh.
How these relationships, right? Keith Richards and Mick Jagger met on a train platform, and the one was carrying sheet music, and the other one was like, "What kind of sheet music do you have there?" He's like, "Well, I'm a guitar guy. Really, I love music." And they sat on the train and had this, lifelong friendship. I mean, that's amazing, right? How Paul McCartney meets this guy named John Lennon. How all of a sudden, what was the story? Who was the drummer for Springsteen?
Max Weinberg.
Max Weinberg told me, he was on the show. Max Weinberg told me he saw a classified ad in the newspaper looking for a drummer.
Yeah.
And he applied, and it was Bruce Springsteen's band. Right. And he was like, "Hey, we're going to get this band together. We need a drummer." Okay, sure. Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of them too. Like, put in ads. We're looking for a, and then lo and behold, this mega band.
All of a sudden, this drummer shows up, and you're talking to Bruce Springsteen, who was just, I think his name was Bruce. I think that's Springsteen. How do you say the guy's name?
Nice Jewish boy.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's world changes on a platform in London. Where you're waiting for a train. Pretty amazing stuff when you get right down to it. But REM is that's my jam. That's my sweet spot.
Do you karaoke that?
No, I would never disrespect REM. But REM came along in the
83-ish.
Right. So MTV and REM, just as Uncle Charlie got cable for the house. All right. I was a sophomore, I guess. And REM came in, and then through the rest of high school and then all of college,
and they were a college band.
Yeah. So that was my sweet spot. That was the counterculture. That was the, sticking it to the man, the new type of music, right? It was our own.
Yeah.
It was our music. It was the soundtrack of my college.
It is very Gen X.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
The soundtrack of my youth, REM. Right? I mean, that's the... Yeah.
And REM doesn't, even though they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they don't tour anymore. They don't do anything. They don't do anything to promote their legacy. They're one of those bands that you don't hear about anymore.
Well, they early on, they just said, look, we're all in it together. Even Steven, right? Whoever writes it, we all write it. So they split all the royalties, all the money, all the everything, and they did it. And then they were like, well, we don't want to do it anymore. And they're like, all right, later. So they remained friends and, went about their business, and they didn't get into the drugs and the whatever else. And they were just all about the music. And it was a very, one of the rare rock and roll bands that didn't have any scandal and sang their songs and were friends till the end. And
right. And that's very rare.
Right.
Not only were they not scandalous, but they stayed friends.
Right.
Like
yeah.
They didn't
And then they were like, we're done. We've let's go do something. We have all this money. Let's go do something else. And I'll call you later.
Bill Berry has a health problem, and they say, you know what? We're not going to replace you. We'll just go on without you.
Yeah. I mean,
and they were still friends.
Yeah.
They're like, your health says you can't tour anymore. Fine. We're not going to replace you.
Yeah. It's just a really nice story, and got started in a college town in a pizza place where they, on Fridays we got live music, and this place is called, then we're going to put this new band in called REM. It's REM. Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sorry.
REM.
It's the Oneaters.
That's such a good movie.
That is such a great movie. That is such a great movie. That Thing You Do is such a great movie. It's such a nice.
The Tom Hanks one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Here's a question
Tyler.
for you. Name for me Tom Hanks's bad movies.
If anyone says The Burbs, dead to me. This is the best movie he's ever made.
Really?
The Burbs.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that one.
It's
Joe versus the volcano.
Oh, so good.
That's not bad. That's not a bad movie. That's
So
actually
good.
oddly kind of good.
My favorite is when he goes shopping for all the stuff.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in 100 years, but I remember thinking somebody was making fun of it, and then I watched it on some day. And I was like, yeah, this movie was okay. That wasn't,
Yeah, Meg Ryan.
Yeah. I can't think of a bad movie Tom Hanks has made.
Maybe the third
Turner and Hooch.
the third Robert Langston, Inferno, which was the
The
third
Angels
Da
and
Vinci's.
Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Turner and Hooch might be.
Turner and Hooch might not be good. Yeah.
What was that?
And it was kind of the dog was this star kind of.
What's the one where he's got the mustache and he's the detective?
Joe Friday?
No. Oh, that's also bad.
Is that okay?
That's Dragnet.
Okay.
But there's another one where he puts on a fake accent and has a mustache I've blocked it out of my head. That's why I can't remember.
It'd be curious to ask him what he thinks is, the actual actor. What's your
Right. What's your
what
clunker?
movie did you think was
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, but he's been in some. I mean, talk about.
So he was the captain, right? Captain Phillips.
That was a great movie.
But then he also played Sully, right? He played
Sully Sullenberger.
so he's got that.
The Captain Phillips, that movie was so good, but the best part of that movie is the last
when he
5 minutes of that movie.
McGraw, when he starts crying, I bawl.
Well, and the woman. So the movie. And so he's rescued, and he's being now checked out by the Navy.
Yes.
And he just went through this traumatic experience, and he's shaking, and he's obviously clearly in shock. So he's acting.
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes, and I have just enough time to tell this story, that the actor who was playing the medic couldn't do it. They just could not work with Tom Hanks because they were too enamored, too overwhelmed. Okay. He was so they had to fire the actor, and they had no other choice than bring in a real Navy medic.
That's right. That's right.
And the real Navy medic comes in, and she steals the scene because she's like, okay, and she's like really treating him like he's in shock. And you're sitting there on the edge of your seat like, this woman is she should have won an Academy Award for that scene.
Yeah. You're right, though. That last part, that's when it was like his act. He's so good, but he just emotes and lets it all. And you're just like,
he's clearly in shock and he can't talk, and he's shaking. And that is such a great scene at the end of Captain Phillips. No, and that woman, that medic, who was a real Navy medic, stole the scene from a guy it's his best scene ever, and she steals the scene from him. Yeah.
Lady Killers is the one. That's a Coen Brothers movie. That's the one I was thinking.
Not to be confused with Ladybugs, which was
Rodney Dangerfield.
which was the movie I was in.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, stole that scene.
Is that on your IMDb page?
I stole that from Jack A. I stole that scene from Jack A. St. Louis Classic Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, we are accident-free. 270 north is a little slow from 55 to 44, and 44 east is rain slowed between 141 and 270. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
85 degrees with plenty of rain today. It is 8 o'clock. Big 550 KTRS Talk Radio, St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump has announced the details of a deal between Hamas and Israel on Gaza. Under the terms, he says Hamas would lay down their arms in Gaza and Israel would leave the territory completely. Now, Hamas is saying it will abide by those terms. Israel has not publicly commented. Here's ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
One U.S. official says Trump would be very disappointed if Israel did not follow through on its commitments to support the plan. However, all these questions haven't stopped the president from declaring victory, posting online that the new technocratic government will work with a new Palestinian police force to take responsibility for Gaza.
Escalating along with fighting in the Middle East, oil company profits, Chevron and Exxon both reporting huge numbers from April through June as the war with Iran continued, and gas prices rose because of it. Exxon's profits doubling in the second quarter, Chevron's nearly quadrupled. More potentially dangerous heat is settling in across a large part of the country. ABC's Trevor Ault is in Southern California.
70 million Americans are on alert for dangerous heat, with the Southwest especially in the crosshairs. And with that scorching heat comes an elevated fire threat. In Sonoma County, the Woodside fire, burning more than 140 acres, prompting evacuations and shutting down part of Highway 1, crews battling the flames from the air. Downtown Los Angeles is under an extreme heat warning Friday through Sunday.
A migrant crisis happening between Morocco and Spain.
Almost 50,000 people are now known to have rushed the border between Morocco and the Spanish enclave of Ceuta, and the situation is still not fully under control. This is on the northern tip of Africa and is the only land border with Europe, and so these people are doing this to claim asylum.
ABC Chief International Correspondent James Longman, at least 34 people have been killed. You're listening to ABC News.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
If you love Mizzou football, you're in the right place. We are the Big 550, your home of the Mizzou Tigers. KTRS St. Louis.
.75 degrees at 8:03. Here's what's happening now. An arrest has been made in the murder of a Ferguson mother. Police say a suspect was taken into custody in the death of 35-year-old Shaquila Martin. Martin was shot and killed at a Ferguson BP gas station on June 30th while walking back to her vehicle with two of her children. The suspect's name is being withheld pending charges. Senator Josh Hawley is introducing bipartisan legislation aimed at improving mail delivery. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has details.
Senator Hawley and his Democratic Senate colleague Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut say there should be no bonuses or additional compensation for Postal Service leadership until mail is delivered on time. This bill comes on the heels of Senator Hawley launching an investigation into the Postal Service's failure to deliver Missourians' mail on time. Both senators are introducing the No Bonuses for Bad Service Act to ban bonus compensation for USPS leadership until every American can trust the Postal Service to deliver the mail in a timely manner. They say the bill prioritizes the American people and promotes accountability from the Postal Service. Over the past 10 years, Postmasters General have received more than $2 million in additional compensation, even as delivery service has declined. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
Missouri Secretary of State Denny Hoskins predicts a higher turnout for the August 4th primary. Hoskins projects a voter turnout of 32%. He attributes this to several key ballot issues and hotly contested races. A familiar name will join the St. Louis Department of Health. Dr. Faisal Khan has been hired as the city's new director of health. Khan worked with the St. Louis County Department of Public Health from 2010 to 2018, then from February of 2021 to September of 2022 as the county's acting director of public health. He stepped down amid intense criticism over mask mandates and COVID-19 related shutdowns and orders. He will begin his new position on Monday. Ahead of the 2026 sales tax holiday, State Director Brad Jones is urging Missourians to take advantage of the tax savings and to shop small. Jones said small businesses are the foundation of our state's economy. They create good-paying jobs for our friends and families while supporting our schools and local charities. Sales Tax Holiday will be held from August 7th through August 9th. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs, and you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. 74 degrees. Time now is 8:05. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right. This hour, we got a busy hour. We got Will Gans is going to be joining us. We got to talk about Spider-Man. The Devil Wears Prada is now on VHS. You can go and get the VHS and enjoy it on your VHS machine. Will Gans will be joining us in a bit. Johnny Laudon's going to be along. The Bell Fountain Conservation Area is in the spotlight for the Missouri Department of Conservation. We talk to Dan Zarlinga each and every Friday. Steve Savard's going to make an appearance. Newly minted anchor of Channel 5. Much rumored. Now it's official. Channel 5, Mike Bush is doing his final victory lap. He's gone in just a couple of weeks, and everyone was wondering what was going to happen. And Steve Savard taking over the anchor chair. So this is like Walter Cronkite going away and Dan Rather taking over the chair. I mean, this is a big deal. Steve Savard, one of the good ones. Mike Bush, one of the good ones. I've always liked Mike Bush. Mike Bush is a nice man, and just, it's over the years. I mean, the Musial Awards and the sports that he did, and just a very nice man. But he's got to sit next to Kelly Jackson. So I hope he got
hazard pay.
Hope he got extra combat pay for that one. He doesn't know what he's walking into. I mean, you think about Kelly Jackson. Talk about she's had to sit next to McGraw Millhaven, Mike Bush, and Steve Savard.
Oh, how does she do it?
She should write a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some trio right there. St. Charles County Executive Steve Hellman's going to be along. He just announced that they did away with the property tax in St. Charles County. It's also in the middle of an election. We'll check in with Steve Hellman coming up here at 9:10. And then Randy's going to finish out the show, talk a little sports with Randy Carricker. So there you go.
What are you watching right now?
I just finished watching Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm.
So you're all caught up both seasons?
I watched both seasons. My honest assessment was each season got a little silly at the end.
Yeah.
However, otherwise, it was fantastic.
Now, that same guy that created that series has another series on Apple Plus called Lucky with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, yeah. She kind of scares me, that actress.
Yeah.
She's very hard.
She was in The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. She's very, very stark looking.
Well, she was perfect for the Queen's Gambit. Like that was but then it's kind of like, I don't know if I can
Last Night in Soho, she's really good too.
Yeah. I'm sure she's a fine woman, and everything, but she's just sort of, I kind of scared of her a little bit.
Fair enough.
Okay. So it also has Annette Bening and Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah.
So, but this is the same creator as Your Friends and Neighbors.
Yeah. It's John Hamm is fantastic in it. Everyone's fantastic in it. And it's, they really sort of hearken in on the rich, white, middle-aged, successful money lie that everyone's keeping up with the Joneses. Everyone lives in these beautiful homes, but nobody's happy. They have to keep spending. The kids aren't happy. The wife's not happy. The husband's not happy. And yet they live in this beautiful house with a beautiful country club and perfect kids, and they're all miserable. And they all wake up when they're 55 years old. How can it be that we're all so miserable and we're living in
You're living the American dream.
Right. You're right. We've strived for this our whole lives, and now we're miserable. Not just unhappy, not just struggling, miserable. Just completely miserable, living in these beautiful homes. They have everything they ever could want, and none of them are happy. And it's that whole concept is really good. And you know who's great in that is John Hamm's dad, who is Married to Bonnie Raitt. Who was that? Who was that guy? Who's the guy married to Bonnie Raitt? An actor. He was Noonan in
Seinfeld?
Caddyshack.
Oh.
Who's that actor?
Michael O'Keefe?
Michael O'Keefe, yeah, plays the dad.
Danny Noonan.
Yeah, plays the dad in Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm. He plays his dad, and it's just so, what he has a sister who's got some mental health issues, and he's trying to do right by his sister, and yet he gets fired, and he's got to sort of navigate this whole nightmare.
Michael O'Keefe plays John Hamm's dad?
Yeah.
So what is there, like a 10-year age difference? He's only like 71.
John Hamm's 50-something.
I didn't know he was married to Bonnie Raitt. Good call.
Yeah.
That was that story I told you that when my parents lived in LA for when he was doing radio, that they just have just a bunch of pictures and you go through it. And there's one picture where they're all sitting there eating dinner and Michael O'Keefe is there. It was just like these random, like up and coming actors. It was the 70s.
Yeah.
But that was the one. And he was in Roseanne and stuff too, I think.
Yeah, he was in Roseanne. He was in A Slugger's Wife with Rebecca De Mornay.
He's good. I like him.
Yeah. He was in
Great
Caddyshack.
Santini.
The Great Santini.
He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Santini. I love that movie. That movie's fantastic. Charlie Wilson's War has to be Tom Hanks' worst movie. I totally disagree. That was a great movie. I love Charlie Wilson's War. Joe versus the Volcano, favorite all-time movie for me. All right. I have all that, and I'm happy. I am happy. A can, entire family too. I have all that.
I'm guessing that's I can retire too.
Oh, happy and I can retire. No. I have all of that and am happy. A can, entire family too. Voice to text doesn't really work, people. Doesn't really help me out here. I think he's trying to say, I have all that and I'm happy as I can be, or something along those lines.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
That's very good.
Fantastic. I'm happy
that.
for you. But it was a commentary not on your life, but on life of other people. I think that was the concept of what are you chasing and what's happy. Yes, you can have all those things, but those things don't make you happy.
Well, and you're right, but I think, and that's probably the gentleman who texted is probably in the minority, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, keep putting that in the universe, because I think a lot of people, so social media will prove that they're living the American dream, but you're not really happy.
Right. Happy as can be and retired. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. See, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. We're very happy for you.
Woo.
But the social commentary is you're chasing all these things, and then you wake up one day and you realize what you've missed, what you sacrificed, what you thought you have, you don't really have. Are these people really your friends, or are they just sort of acquaintances you hang out with at the club when you get into trouble? Who really is your friend? You've got divorced from your wife, but you clearly still love your wife, and she's struggling, and you're trying to figure, right? It's just an interesting layered show about middle age, I guess, which may or not hit close to home for me.
You're like,
But, I wouldn't expect a teenager to be like, oh, my goodness, I got to run home and watch these middle-aged white men complaining about their rich, issues. But for me, it's,
it's right on point.
It's pretty good. And John Hamm is fantastic. John Hamm is such a good actor. 8:14 here, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
McGraw, there's a lot of rain-slowed traffic out there, but no accidents. 270 is slow in both directions between 44 and 55. 64-55 East is crowded between the Poplar Street Bridge and 64, and 70 East is a little slow at the airport. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
Weakening showers and a few thunder showers could have an impact in spots this morning before fading midday into the afternoon. But look out for another round of storms likely late this afternoon into this evening. And some of that second round could be strong to severe with gusty winds, maybe even an isolated tornado. Turning steamy before that happens, though, this afternoon with a high of 84. Storms make way for scattered showers overnight tonight, down to 69 for the low. And it is unseasonably cool and mostly cloudy Saturday. Scattered showers from time to time tomorrow with a high of only 76. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550.
A lot of people didn't like Tom Hanks in Elvis. Apparently, they didn't like him in Elvis, but we'll get to some of that. We've got Will Gans is joining us, back by popular demand. Good morning, Will Gans.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you. Spider-Man, brand new day. What do we know?
So this is going to be the biggest opening of the year, which is crazy because this year is like going to be the biggest year since before the pandemic at the box office. So let's just keep the momentum going, I guess. Tom Holland is back as Peter Parker. This is the fourth Spider-Man movie he's made. And this one, I would say, it feels more grounded, like he is in New York and there's no like crazy time travel or space travel or anything like that. Definitely a huge action-packed film, but it's Peter Parker trying to, become an adult. We've watched him as, grow from literally, they've been making these movies for 10 years, this cast, which is, crazy to think about. But he's in it with Zendaya and John Bernthal, who all three of them were also in The Odyssey together, which is kind of funny. Yeah, this thing's great. As far as Marvel Cinematic Universe and superhero fans go, there is one big character reveal and addition to the MCU that, at least when I saw it, had people cheering and yelling and things like that. So for anyone who likes that kind of thing, it's certainly worth checking out in theaters this weekend.
Can we talk about Tom Holland for a moment? I mean, this guy's having a moment, isn't he?
It's crazy. And you know what? It's like, especially since he's married to Zendaya, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, is the time of like big movie stars back? There have been like some discourse about, is movie stars dead? Was the last like major movie star, Julia Roberts and Tom Cruise, like, is that era gone? But now it feels like with Tom Holland and Zendaya and Anne Hathaway all in these massive, massive movies this year, is it like, okay, like now it means that you can just cast a star and the movie will be huge, and it certainly feels like that's the case for Tom Holland.
Well, he's in The Odyssey, now he's in Spider-Man, and apparently he's filming a biopic. He's going to be Fred Astaire.
Yeah, which is super, like, I don't know if everybody realizes, but like he started as a theater actor and like classically trained dancer when he was a kid. In London, he was in the West End in the Billy Elliot musical. And so for him, playing Fred Astaire is like actually like returning to his roots in some ways. And he said he doesn't want to use any doubles or anything. He wants to dance the whole thing himself. So he's been rehearsing for that. So sounds like he's like, now that he's done his big, box office blockbuster movies, now it seems like maybe he wants his Oscar too.
Yeah. All right. So Spider-Man in movie theaters this weekend. The Devil Wears Prada 2. This was clearly one of the biggest hits of the summer.
Absolutely. So prior to The Odyssey, it was the biggest live action opening of the year. And if you missed it on the big screen, this is 20 years after the first Devil Wears Prada, and you get to sort of see what Miranda Priestley, that's Meryl Streep's character, is like in a world where HR is paying attention to what she says and does, so she can't maybe treat people as awfully as she did in the first one. She definitely wants to, and she sneaks it in sometimes. And in a world where, not as many people are reading print magazines the way that they were when the first movie came out. So if you missed it, it is definitely worth checking out. It's streaming now for free. If you have a Disney Plus subscription, you can watch it without having to pay any sort of rental fee or anything like that. So definitely worth watching if you missed it when it was on the big screen in May.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, you were talking about this Will Ferrell streaming series where he's a golfer.
The Hawk.
Yeah,
Yes.
I watched it. I was a little lukewarm on it, and now there's another streaming service with another golf streaming show. What's this one?
Well, this guy, so this is the Dink, and he is a washed-up tennis pro as opposed to a washed-up golf pro in this one. So it's Jake Johnson, who people, if you watched New Girl, he played Nick Miller, and I just think he's like so funny. But anyway, he gets a wrist injury playing tennis, and his doctor, who's played by Ben Stiller, says that he should start playing pickleball. So he teams up with a woman at the country club, and they start playing pickleball together, enter a tournament. And is this movie going to change your life? Probably not. But if you're into sort of, like the Happy Gilmore or the Will Ferrell Hawk series, about someone who probably shouldn't be a pro athlete, but is, it's worth checking out. And it's just a movie. It's not a series, and it's on Apple TV.
What's the Owen Wilson one, the golf one? That one.
Oh, what was that called?
Stick,
I know
it was Stick. Yeah, it was on Apple TV, I think. Yeah.
On Apple TV. That's right. Yeah.
That was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed that. I don't know when that's coming back. These things, they show up for a year, then they take 3 years to come back. But that was actually pretty good. But this one with Will Ferrell, I don't know. It's too Saturday Night Live-ish. It's a little too, how they go over the top with Saturday Night Live skits that are funny for a 5-minute skit on a Saturday night, but for a 13 episode series, it's not gonna actually work. We were just talking about. Did you watch John Hamm in Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV?
I am currently watching it, so I'm a little behind, but I think it's a fun show to watch, but I do feel like I'm behind the curve on this one for sure.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. You're probably a little young to appreciate the gloom and doom aspect of it. You still you haven't been torn down by life and have your heart ripped out by the world that you're about to experience. But this whole they portray the upper echelon of the rich and powerful and how they all hate their lives. It's actually really good, and John Hamm is great in it.
Yeah, I mean, and he's someone that, especially on a show like this, you forget. Obviously Mad Men, he played, it was a drama and things like that. But then you get to see him do really, really stupid stuff in Bridesmaids, and then to see him back in this sort of this element. I mean, he really can do anything.
Yeah, he's really good. Will Gans, you can do anything. You can hang out with Good Morning America and then throw us a bone every once in a while. So we appreciate it. Will, have yourself a good week. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds great. Thanks. Take care.
Will Gans with us, the entertainment guy from ABC. Stay right there. Johnny Lando's going to join us. And then Steve Savard, going to talk to him. An exclusive. I think the first time on radio since the big announcement.
Sure.
Yeah. And then St. Charles County Executive Steve Hellman's going to join us at 9 to talk about how he has now done away with the personal property tax in St. Charles County. We'll do that coming up here all in the next 45 minutes or so. 8:23 here, Big 550 KTRS. Let's talk about retirement. Kevin Lloyd is where you want to go. When you retire, they don't tell you how to retire. Nobody tells you how to retire. The internet will bombard you with sort of products and places to go to retire, but they don't teach you how to retire. They teach you how to put money into these accounts. They don't teach you how to take them out of the accounts. The government's not stupid. They let you put it in tax-free with the notion that when you take it out, then they're really going to tax you. Well, what if there were a way to put the money in tax efficiently and a way to take the money out tax efficiently? Well, you need some help, and that's where Kevin Lloyd comes in. Well-respected, well-trusted, been doing this a long time. 314-641-1010. You need somebody to show you, to explain to you strategies to take the money out tax efficiently. There are things you can do to reduce your taxes. There are things you can do to reduce your taxes on Social Security, whether it's Medicare, whether it's the Affordable Care Act. There are things you can do to mitigate your taxes, which will help you. But you need a true financial plan, and that's why you need to sit down and meet with Kevin Lloyd or one of his advisors, 314-641-1010. We do a show each and every week and explain all these little intricacies and procedures and policies and everything else. Go sit down and get a true financial plan that is dedicated and set up for you, because nobody else is going to use your retirement except you. So you need to have an own personal retirement plan set up by Kevin Lloyd. 314-641-1010 or the website whenretirementhappens.com. St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center. Here's Captain Paul.
64 east at Spady is blocking the 2 right lanes with stop-and-go traffic back to Ballas. 6455 east is heavy between the King Bridge and 64. And other than that, we have a lot of rain-slowed traffic in the area. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Johnny Landau Chevrolet.
All right, let's go to the magic of radio. Let's go to the conference room at the Washington Elizabeth exit on Highway 270 and check in with Mr. John Londoff. Mr. Londoff, welcome back, my friend.
Good to hear your voice, even though I've been listening to you all morning. And now it's our turn. Right, Team Londoff?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Happy July the 31st. It is a beautiful day. We needed the moisture. It's going to cool things down. And but it's not going to cool down the deals here at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet or Johnny Londoff Autoplex, is it?
No, sir.
No, sir. What do we got? I'm sure we got some specials, right? Rick and Brandon?
Absolutely. Yes, we do.
Brandon with the eye?
Brandon with an eye.
Just got off vacation, all ready to go, all rested up. Yeah, you're glowing from the sun, from the tan. You kidding me? Huh? But we've got some getting great deals. Last day of the month of July, GM, Chevy, they expect some big numbers from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. And I expect some big numbers out at the Autoplex. How about that, huh?
Oh, my goodness. Where is Dave Moore?
It's a good question. He's he surely isn't too sweet that he's gonna melt in the rain. All right, that's for doggone sure. But he's a big presence. When he gets here, we'll hear him and we'll see him. He's all 6'5" of him.
All right, got it.
What am I boring you?
No. I just Dave Moore filled in last week and he did such a stellar job. I wanted to make sure you didn't kick him upstairs or something.
What you're trying to say is that I'm boring. That's okay. I mean, come on. I've never heard that before. You would be the first. You would be the first person ever to claim that John Londoff Jr. is boring, right?
Where's Jimmy Sappho?
He's in St. Peter's.
Huh.
That's where he is. If you want to see him, get your picture taken with him. He's out there and he's making unbelievable deals. Unbelievable deals, right?
Yes, sir.
Stephen said, Stephen said, what's going on in the finance arena?
Finance is on fire, sir. We're working with all our lending partners. They're asking us to send them more business, and that's what we're going to do today. Through the end of this month, deals are on fire. We got 0% for GM, up to 60 months on certain makes and models. Just having one of the biggest months we've ever had here at the Londoff store. So let's continue that, right, Steve?
Yes, sir. Let's keep going and let us take our expertise in F&I and finance and help you guys get into a car that you guys love and want, and we're going to keep for a while.
There you go.
Beautiful.
You know, we've been in business now for 84 years. Johnny Londoff Sr. started down in the St. Louis city at Londoff Motors, selling new Kaiser Frazers. You Google that vehicle, it looks like a tank. You know why? Because in the war, they built armaments. They built material for World War II. Then they built these cars And my dad said that the doors were so heavy that the hinges would break within about 1.5 to 2 years.
Do you have any Kaiser Frasers in your garage now?
My friends in high school, beautiful Lutheran North High School, the Crusaders, they used to ask me, why don't your dad collect any cars? So I was about 18 or so. I think I was 17. It's maybe 16. I said, Dad, why don't you collect cars? He looked at me. He goes, son, one of these days you'll grow up and you realize what a dumb question that is. We're not here to collect them. We're here to sell them. I'm like, okay. I probably said, okay, Dad, that's good. Right?
That's a great answer.
What's going on down at the used car operation here at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet?
Lots of trades, lots of purchases have arrived this week. We had a real nice 16 Audi A6 come in, 126,000 miles. They have a whole packet of service records they gave us. That vehicle is on sale this weekend for $10,990.
What?
Also have a 19 Dodge Durango GT Plus that came in with only 64,000 miles for $24,500.
Nice. Beautiful.
Brandon with an eye.
You know me, I like my flashy cars. So, like a nice 2022 C8 Corvette for under $60,000.
Wow.
Hard to find.
Wait. What year was that Corvette?
2022.
2022, under 60K. What color?
White.
Interesting.
That sounds like your vehicle.
I'm a green Corvette guy. Hey, give me a green. Call me when you got a green one.
Call you tomorrow.
We'll get you a green jacket, like the Masters jacket. You can wear your green jacket in your white Corvette.
There you go. All right.
You look good in a Corvette.
I don't fit in a Corvette. I'm like Jimmy Sappho. It was, I'd be like coming out. I need a shoehorn to get in the car. All right. 2 locations, the Washington Elizabeth exit, and of course the Autoplex out there in St. Peter's. Every car you got is all online, right? Londoff.com.
Londoff.com, LondoffChevy.com, Londoff Autoplex, AUTOPLEX, Autoplex.com.
Good stuff.
All right,
guys.
Great deals, great weekend. Again, we need to close the month strong. July the 31st, liquid sunshine falling out of the sky. That's okay. We needed a little rain out at the farm in Ellsbury to, get the corn all tasseled up so the ducks have something to eat when they come down here in November, December. So that's a long way away, though. Don't worry about that.
Gotta love you. Open all day today and all day Saturday. Don't let the rain stop you. Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, they will take care of you. 84 years strong. Londoff Motors, Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Guys, have a good weekend. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, McGraw. How did I do? Did I do okay?
You were wonderful. You were not boring at all. Not boring at all.
Sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
I feel better now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 8:33 here, Big 550 KTRS. Let's go to the newsroom. Here's Rose Alton.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez blames trafficking gangs as 60,000 cross into Ceuta from Morocco, resulting in 34 deaths. Sanchez said they deceive so many young people and ultimately lead many of them to their deaths, whether in the ocean or, as in this case, at Spain's border in the autonomous city of Ceuta. President Donald Trump is taking his next cabinet meeting on the road to Camp David presidential retreat in Maryland. It will be the Republican president's 13th cabinet meeting of the second term and the first he's held away from the White House. In local headlines, former St. Louis Mayor Vincent Shamel Jr. has been appointed to the Missouri State Board of Education. Governor Mike Kehoe formally appointed Shamel and Kansas City area teacher Michael McDonald to the state's 8-member board yesterday. And the Missouri Historical Society is playing a role in the production of Meet Me in St. Louis at the Muni. Curators at the Missouri Historical Society have provided the Muni with original images from St. Louis in 1904, which will be used as a backdrop on stage. 74 degrees. Time now is 8:34. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, let's talk about Neighbors Credit Union. Neighbors Credit Union is a credit union with over 100 years of experience here in St. Louis of helping St. Louisans with all sorts of things. Now you can sign up with Neighbors Credit Union, open up an account, but you can also open up an account for the next generation. They call those smart accounts. Why? Because it's smart to do that. Teach them the next generation about the value of a dollar. When you put them on a budget, when they explain to them that money is not unlimited, they get a little more judicious with what they want. They're not always screaming for the next ring pop because it's coming out of their other monies. They have to make priorities. That's why Neighbors Credit Union is right there to teach that next generation about financial literacy. Also, they have Home Everything lines of credit where the first 12 months you get a low introductory rate. That's great. You want to consolidate that debt, maybe something for education, the family, maybe a home improvement. Yeah, it's Neighbors Credit Union. That's why you go there. Well-respected, well-trusted, 8 area locations. NeighborsCU.org. NeighborsCU.org.
The Big 550 KTRS is proud to be celebrating 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis and looking forward to another 30 years. But we want to hear from you and get your thoughts on what you like and don't like and what we can do better. Go to KTRS.com or to the KTRS app and take our 30th anniversary listener survey. We thank you in advance, and once you take the survey, you'll be registered for a chance to win one of 5 $200 Visa gift cards from the Big 550, the talk of St. Louis.
Make the decision this year to upgrade your deck or patio into the special space you've always imagined. Hi, this is Dan Head from Patriot Builds, offering you a free design consultation for a beautiful sunroom, patio cover, power shade, or outdoor kitchen. Now is the perfect time to invest in comfort, beauty, and lasting value. Enjoy more light, more nature, more life in a Patriot sunroom. Call today and save 314-822-3232 or click patriotbuildsstl.com or visit our showroom at 811 South Kirkwood Road.
Hey, Heidi here for Window Depot USA, where they do things right. They combine integrity and a focus on helping the community with local service you can trust. And with Window Depot's buying power, they can offer you triple pane performance at double pane pricing. To celebrate America's 250th birthday, Window Depot is offering you $250 off each window and door with a qualifying purchase. When you do things right, you create happy customers. And at Window Depot, they create happy customers. Call 636-939-4800 or visit them online at windowdepotstl.com.
Before you put your home on the market, before you have to pay money fixing it up to sell it, before you have to pay real estate commissions, call me. I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I will buy your home. Any property, any condition, anywhere, and always as is. Call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. You have nothing to lose when you call Robank Properties at 314-283-0867.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, well, we're supposed to have Aisha Mohammed on the show. She's the community conservation planner. So filling in for her is Dan Zarlenga with the Missouri Department of Conservation. Good morning, Aisha.
Good morning. Good
Yes.
morning. I'll try to do my best to fill her shoes, but the
good.
rain's pretty brutal out there, so the traffic is pretty slow moving. But I just wanted to kind of talk today about a really cool event we've got coming up, and that's a week from tomorrow, which is August 8th. From 9 a.m. to noon. It's our Bell Fountain Conservation Area Community Nature Day. So what it is, basically the whole idea is that, nature's everywhere in every community, everywhere. So we're trying to highlight that with this particular event, which is occurring in North County at Bell Fountain Conservation Area. That's on Bell Fountain Road, just south of 270 in Bell Fountain there. It's actually, to get there, it's the same entrance to get to the veterans home. So it's a little tricky, but you turn in that entrance and then make an immediate left, and then you can go to get to the conservation area. But the whole point of this, it's a free family event where we're wanting to highlight nature and we're wanting to highlight that conservation area, which is in the backyard for so many of those North County residents.
Sure. Okay. So it's next Saturday, August 8th from 9 a.m. till noon. What can we expect at this event?
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of cool things. First of all, we want to give folks a chance to get to know the area, the conservation area, and get to explore it. But we're going to have a lot of cool guided nature activities, which include like birding, guided hikes, fishing. We're going to have pond seining, which is kind of fun. Basically, you get nets and you dip them in the ponds and you come up with all kinds of weird little creatures like crayfish.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
lots of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And kids love that. We've done that before with some other activities, so that'll be there as well. So pond singing, that's called. We'll have nature journaling, which kind of helps people write down and even draw what they see in nature. So to kind of as a remembrance of what they're seeing, but also improves your observing skills, because when you have to describe or draw something, you observe it more carefully.
Yeah. Do you have to have a permit or anything, or?
Well, not to do any of these other activities, you don't. But we do have fishing there also. Now, for this particular event, we've got a special use permit where folks can fish without having a permit at this particular event. But normally, if you go fishing there any other time, you need your standard permits for fishing.
Well, that's nice. So to get people involved and to entice them to come out and take a chance and see whether they like it or not. Yeah,
it's a way to introduce them to the area. And, it's got some nice trails there. They're short, they're paved, they're fairly easy. So it's a great opportunity for folks to get out, take an easy walk, and kind of get there intimate with nature.
What about Rose wants to do yoga there? Can you do yoga there?
We've got definitely some outside the box stuff going on. We've got the outdoor yoga, like you mentioned, and then we're going to have a DJ with music the whole day, so that'll be fun. Make it more celebratory, and then we're also going to be doing some other dancing type activities out there too. So it's going to be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, well, let's say I have a hunkering for some ice cream. Can I get ice cream out there?
Yes, we're going to have free ice cream too, which will be perfect. Hopefully it'll be warm enough for ice cream. I'm sure it will be. And even if it's not warm, it's always a good day for ice cream.
I yield for a question, Rose.
Is this the same area that has like the old, like the New Deal era, like the steps and like that? Because we call there's was there a boys' home right there, and then they used to do canine training or something, and then you go well back in there, and if you go all the way back in, you can maybe even see Lindbergh. Is that accurate? Is that?
So that's what you're thinking of is Fort Bellefontaine County Park.
Okay.
So it's a different location. I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes folks can get confused.
Yeah, that's what I first thought of. So
right,
okay.
And they're both on Bellefontaine Road, just in different spots of Bellefontaine Road. What you're talking about is at the north extreme of Bellefontaine Road, the end where it actually ends.
Only in St. Louis.
And only in St. Louis. What I'm talking about is Bellefontaine Conservation Area, which is just south of 270. But yes, I'm glad you brought it up. I wanted to make folks aware that there are two different things and not to get mixed up.
Okay,
so that's a great site though too.
So what is Bellefontaine Conservation Area? What is it? Tell us about it.
It's a nice little green oasis basically, and it's a great place for people to go. There's a picnic shelter there, so you can have picnics. There's fishing ponds there, and like I mentioned, the trails are there that you can do some nice paved walks. But also, it's got a great habitat for birds. It's got some ponds and stuff which are great habitat for frogs and toads. So you go certain times in the year, you'll hear those. And we also do, not that this will be happening with folks on next Saturday, but we also do dove banding out there, where we capture doves and we put bands on them and stuff like that.
Yeah, like that's not like pigeon honing pigeons. That's different.
Oh yeah. No, these are doves, mourning doves. So and they're native to Missouri.
Yeah.
So.
All right, good. All right. So you want to get all right. So where officially on Bellefontaine Road is this thing?
Yeah. So it's like I said, just. And here's Aisha.
Aisha, just as we're finishing up. Aisha, where is Bellefontaine Road?
So Bellefontaine Road's right in the Bellefontaine Neighbors kind of Spanish Lake neighborhood. It's right across from Christian Hospital off of 367 and Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
Okay, good. Can you talk a little closer to the microphone there?
Yeah.
Secondly, how are the roads?
The roads were treacherous, a little precarious of a situation, so apologies for my delay this morning. Dan could be here.
Still raining pretty bad out there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so you missed most of what Dan was saying because you were busy parking the car and getting in. But give us a quick overview of what we can expect on Saturday.
Yeah, so on August 8th, it's BCA, or Bellefontaine Conservation Area Community Day. We're having people come out and explore the area. A lot of people we've discovered who even live there, or maybe have been there for 20 years, have never been to it. And it's a great place. It's about 133 acres total. There's education ponds. There's a dip netting pond. We're going to have people out there fishing. We'll have guided nature hikes. There'll also be a DJ, family friendly, and there will be a steps and slides class, yoga. So people can just experience what it's like to do all sorts of conservation based nature programs out there, like birding, but also like if you want want to go out and find some solace or have different ways to move your body outside, that's also something.
We were mentioning the yoga
Yes.
mats and everything else going on. Do we need tickets? Does it cost anything?
It is
Where do we register?
no cost.
No
It's
cost.
100% free. You can go there and you can register for whatever kind of hike or program you want to do right at the sign up.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so next Saturday, 9 to noon, Bell Fountain Conservation Area.
Yes.
Is there a place where we can go and get more information?
Yeah, you can go to mdc.mo.gov/events and it will be on there.
Beautiful. Do you have any free ice cream?
We will. It should be shaved ice.
Oh, shaved ice,
Yeah,
not ice cream.
yeah.
Oh.
So it's
Gotta get
friendly
all the
for
hair
people
off.
who are lactose intolerant.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and then put the syrup on there, the blue syrup or the green syrup or the
Good stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Aisha Mohammed, thanks for checking in. Good stuff.
thank you.
All right, 8:45 here at Big 550 KTRS. Captain Paul, one more go. St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center.
McGraw, an accident on 64 East at Spady is blocking the two right lanes with stop-and-go traffic back to 270. Estimated clearance time is 9:10. We have a crash on 370 West east of 94. It's blocking the two right lanes and causing a slight slowdown. 6455 East is heavy between the King Bridge and 64. And other than that, we have a lot of rain-slowed traffic around the area. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night tonight at Westport Plaza, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Woods Basement Systems Weather Desk, local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation repair, crawl space repair, and more. WoodsBasementSystems.com.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a First Alert weather day for Friday as we're on guard for any severe storms in the late afternoon and evening hours Friday. But there is a chance of rain earlier in the day, so some scattered showers in the morning to afternoon, a low of 70, a high of 83 in the afternoon. And then we'll watch for that isolated severe storm or two, especially in the evening hours for the St. Louis Metro. Saturday has a chance for some scattered showers, lots of clouds, and a cool day for August. 78 for the high on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy, slim chance for a spot shower or two, otherwise a high of 80. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
From the Country Club Car Wash text line, here is your Country Club Car Wash text of the day. They will receive a free Country Club Car Wash code to get a free Country Club Car Wash. From the 314, I want to go out with Dan Zarlinga based on his voice. Apparently, that woman was not watching the YouTube feed. So there you go. Dan Zarlinga is getting the Danettes are out there. Miller Furniture, Mueller, Miller Furniture or millerfurniture.com. 4 area locations, one great family, 100 years in the making. Miller Furniture. Most of the furniture now comes back from China with a flat box, they call it. Oftentimes it gets delivered to your front door. The UPS guy's complaining because it's so heavy and it's a flat box and you got to put it together. At Miller Furniture, it's a bit of a different deal. This is real wood, real furniture, real wood techniques. This is the furniture stuff that will last a lifetime. They have a huge, giant selection of mattresses. Do they even call them box springs anymore? They have platforms, if you will, movable platforms, or shall I say motion platforms. They've got them all at Miller Furniture, all 4 locations. Lake St. Louis out at the Meadows, Fairview Heights, right across the street from the mall is a gigantic location with just about everything you could possibly ever need or want, every style, every design. Everything comes same as cash. Financing, you can use 12 months, 24 months. They even have some plans up to 60 months. So Lake St. Louis out at the Meadows, Fairview Heights, Ellisville on Manchester Road, and Belleville, Illinois was their world headquarters. Mueller, Miller Furniture or millerfurniture.com.
St. Louis County Library is teaming up with the Magic House, St. Louis Children's Museum, to bring Hero Quest exhibits to 9 St. Louis County Library branches this summer. Each exhibit features historical heroes from the popular children's book series Ordinary People Change the World by author Brad Meltzer and illustrator Chris Elopoulos. Hands-on activities inside each exhibit give kids an opportunity to explore the traits that made each hero so extraordinary. Pick up a passport at your local St. Louis County Library branch and visit 6 or more heroes to get a free book. You can learn more at slcl.org/hero-quest.
Hey, this is Zipper Zeppa. You know, St. Louis has great sports, great entertainment. Time for some great conversation. That's why I'm excited to invite you to the Mater Media Speaker Series. We're bringing in Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Dolan, John O'Leary, other national speakers at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts, Lindenwood University. Tickets are on sale. Don't wait. Early bird pricing going on now. Go to matermedia.org. That's matermedia.org.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Now back to McGraw, presented by London Chevrolet, the London Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, the news came down yesterday, and everybody here at the Big 550 KTRS was hoping it was going to happen, rumored to be happening. But Steve Savard, who's been hanging out here at the Big 550 KTRS for the last couple of months, is now officially minted as the new anchor of KSDK Channel 5. He is 5 on your side. Steve Savard, congratulations.
Thank you, McGraw. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Good to be on with you. You guys have been good to me in my last year or so since I left Springfield. I've had a good time hanging out with you and Carl and Rose and the whole gang.
Yeah, with the world of journalism today and media, with Mike Bush leaving, people don't realize the institutional memory that's walking out the door, and the powers to be. I know Channel 5 is going through all sorts of mergers and lawsuits and court cases and everything else, but the institutional memory you bring to the seat is vital in this day and age. So at least they're smart enough to realize you are what you bring to the table. And that's great, not just for you, for Channel 5, but for the whole region.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't look at it in those terms, but it's been a good fit. I was so sure in November, McGraw, that I was probably done working in TV news in St. Louis that I started the process of getting my pension in order. And then I got a call from the company and said, look, we got new management, new newsroom management. You want to meet with Tim Garrity, the news director? I did. We hit it off. He says, what do you want to do? I never said I want to anchor. I never said I want to succeed Mike Bush. I just said I want to tell veteran stories. And if something develops, something develops. And that's what's happened. And it's been the best of all possible worlds for me, because I was able to do some filming work at KTRS and tell these weekly veteran stories. And the longer I got there, the more appealing the job became because of the environment there and what goes on behind the scenes. And we have a new news director coming in. So, I'm all on board. Let's go.
Yeah. Is it in your contract or in Kelly Jackson's contract that her dressing room is bigger than your dressing room? How does that work?
No, they're the exact same size, but their lighting is much better. I actually, now, if I'm under oath somewhere, I will say I never swore to this. So please don't play the audio of this. But when I go put on my makeup, and it's just a quick little, so I don't shine because I'm a sweater, I actually asked permission for Kelly, and she's invited me in their dressing room because the lighting is so much better. It's like, it's so perfect for men. We're like in a man cave with no lighting, trying to put on our makeup and powder so that we look like we're sweating, and I sweat profusely. So that's why I have to do it.
Well, I mean, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I think I answered the question at the same time, embarrassed myself. So congratulations, mission accomplished.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think you realize that the amount of grapes you have to feed Kelly on a nightly basis, and with the elephant leash you're going to have to fan her with after the 5. I mean, she's the sweetest woman in the world. I don't know how well you know Kelly Jackson, but you got a nice seat next to her.
Well, I didn't know these people. I didn't know her or Ann very well at all 6 months ago. And right away, the first thing I noticed was, well, first of all, they were so welcoming, everybody. And I've had guys, what meant a lot to me is some of the photographers I've known for 30 years said, you've just been a good fit. I mean, it's just like, you've been here 20 years. Well, you work with good people. The thing I noticed right away was how much fun Kelly and Ann and Mike had off set, and their camaraderie and how close they were. I don't know if they hang out away from TV, but I will tell you they're work buddies. And it created a really nice environment for me to just sit and do my thing and be a role player there. But Kelly and Ann, they have been super welcoming, very encouraging, and I've got an easy job because I get to slide into two great news anchors who are established, smart, great broadcasters, and they know the market and they know the business.
Larry Connors once told me a story about you. He said that you had a map on your wall or your door or something, and every time you visited a place or interviewed somebody or read about something, you put a little pin in that place on the map. Is that a true story?
No, but I think it sort of is. I am a map guy. I'm a curious person, and I grew up in a home. We didn't have a lot of money, but my mother always made sure there was a national atlas. There was a book of maps. And we were map people, and I'm a geography guy. So he is correct in that I am naturally inquisitive about if I read a story about Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, I want to know where it is and what it borders and everything else. And sometimes I just want to know where Schenectady is because that's where I may end up working in TV news if things don't go well. Connors and Hunter were as corny as they ever get. They used to say, how you get to Utica. Bad ratings.
Talk about your sports world, because so many sports guys cross over to news, and a lot of people don't understand it, but it's a perfect fit. Sports is about storytelling and breaking news and knowing people, and so it's a natural fit to move from sports to news to sports.
Well, you sound like you've been in television news for 30 or 40 years. You describe it the way I would, because I once had I went through a 5-year transition at Channel 4. I started in 2007. I was still sports director, but I was filling in for Connors every time he was on vacation and doing some other work. And we were owned by Bilo, and an assistant news director from WWL, our sister station in New Orleans, was in town. He came into the sports department the next day, and he says, "I saw you anchoring the news and doing sports in the same show last night." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You normally do that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'll always hire a sports guy to be my news anchor because you guys are animals. You do it all." What he meant by that was, and I think you hit on that, we have to do it all. We've shot, we edit, we do long-form interviews for Sunday night shows. We do short-form interviews. We write our own scripts. We edit our own scripts. There isn't anything the sports guys don't do as they come up in the business. So I think it does prepare us a little bit. And then we do a lot of ad-lib and talking off the cuff. So, it should come natural to us when we have crosstalk on the set.
Yeah,
so
good stuff.
For those reasons, I think there are a lot. And Mike set the bar here. Mark Curtis, who used to work here, has had a fabulous career in Phoenix as a news anchor as well.
There you go. So when do you take over? When does this whole transition start?
I have been anchoring intermittently. I'm going to anchor Sunday night and then the following Sunday night. And then Mike's last day is Thursday, August 13th. He's going to do the 6th, and then he's done. And then I'm gonna be on the set with Kelly at 10 o'clock. So my contract says August 10th, but I've actually been anchoring now.
Is it just the 10, or is it the 5 and the 6 and the 7 and the 8, or what's the official?
We don't have a 7 or 8. Don't. I hope nobody's listening. I hope nobody at KSDK is listening to you. No, we 5, 6, and 10, and then we do streaming at 6:30 as well.
Okay, good stuff. Steve Savard, you're a good man. Good luck, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down the road. Don't be a stranger.
No, I won't be a stranger. I will not be a stranger. Thanks, McGraw. Hi, Rose.
There you go. Steve Savard. Steve Savard, ladies and gentlemen. You got it. As wide as the arch. His heart's as big as the arch, and his shoulders are as wide as the arch. So there you go. Steve Savard, newly minted, KSDK Channel 5, 10 o'clock. What do you say? 5, 6, 7, 10, 12?
And midnight.
And the midnight, and streaming, and podcasting, and TikTok. He'll be sitting next to Kelly Jackson. Oh, he's in for a rude awakening. Wait till he's over at Kelly Jackson's house fixing the HVAC unit. Where's the filter? St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center. Here's Scott and Paul.
McGraw, it looks like they've cleared an accident on 64 East at Spady. Other than that, we have a lot of rain-slowed traffic around the area. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Weather-wise, it is brutal rain out there. It's going to rain all day today. They're calling for on and off rain all day today and all day tomorrow. It is 72 right now. Stay right there. Steve Ellman just did away with your property tax if you live in St. Charles County. We'll talk with him in 10 minutes. And then Randy Carricker talk a little sports. It is 9 o'clock right now. KTRS, St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Stocks surged this morning at the open. The S&P was up 0.5% right off the bell. The Dow adding about 41 points this hour. NASDAQ showing gains after Amazon reported a much stronger profit in the last quarter than expected. Also collecting some big profits in the second quarter. Big oil.
The U.S.-Iran conflict has reduced tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz to a trickle. In response, the major oil companies have raised the price of their refined products, pushing gasoline past the $4 mark. For U.S. and European oil companies, the strategy has worked. Most reported massive increases in second quarter profit as the war drags on.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Exxon profits up 105%. Chevron's profits up more than 300%. President Trump holds a cabinet meeting at Camp David today, and there in the Attorney General's seat will be Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, whose confirmation is still being held up by two Republican senators, John Cornyn and Tom Tillis.
The senators are refusing to back Blanche until they get written proof that a $1.8 billion fund, which would have paid taxpayer dollars to Trump's political allies, including January 6th rioters, is officially dead, something Blanche already told Congress 2 weeks ago. But that wasn't enough for Cornyn, who claims the White House is standing in his way.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. Senator Tillis says one of Donald Trump's advisors want to revive the fund, which would also provide IRS immunity for the president and his family. A heat dome across the West, putting about 70 million people under warnings. As for the Pacific Northwest, wildfires are the main concern.
Oregon may be started on what could be their worst fire season in history. That's how hot and dry it's been here. What makes this worse? Wind gusts anywhere from 40 to 75 miles per hour.
ABC meteorologist Sam Champion. State of New York suing Kalshi, alleging its prediction market is nothing more than illegal, unlicensed gambling. You're listening to ABC News.
That'll be 84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This has been the talk of St. Louis for 30 years, and we aren't stopping now. We are the Big 550, KTRS St. Louis. Depend on it.
72 degrees at 9:03. More information is being released about the couple who was found murdered in Guatemala after being deported from the St. Louis area. Nixon Perez Paz and his wife Glendy Gonzalez de la Cruz were found shot to death in a sugarcane field earlier this month. Police found the couple's 14-month-old daughter Giovanni lying beside her parents' bodies. The infant survived, though she was severely dehydrated. There were reports that Perez Paz was convicted twice for drunk driving. However, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports no drunken driving records for him appear in Missouri's court database. A public vigil will be held tomorrow night at 6 at Overland City Hall to pay tribute to the family and raise awareness for immigrant rights. A former St. Louis TV news anchor has been ruled competent to stand trial for the murder of her mother in Kansas. 48-year-old Angeline Mock is charged with intentional and premeditated first-degree murder in the death of 80-year-old Anita Avers. Prosecutors say Mock stabbed her mother to death at a Wichita home last Halloween. Mock, who previously worked as a TV news anchor reporter from Fox 2 from 2011 to 2015, is jailed on $1 million bond. An animal abuse case is being investigated in St. Peters. Police say a man walked his dog in Dardine Park this week when he discovered an iguana duct taped to a tree. He immediately called St. Peters Animal Control, who arrived within minutes and freed the iguana. Anyone with any information on this case should call St. Peters Animal Control at 636-278-2255. Ahead of the August 4th primary election, the officers of the election board on North Tucker will be open for in-person, no-excuse early voting on Saturday. Voters can come in anytime from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. An anniversary celebration is planned in Alton for acclaimed jazz musician Miles Davis. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has the story.
The Alton Amphitheater will commemorate the 100th anniversary of Alton native Miles Davis at the Alton Jazz and Wine Festival next month. The evening will feature jazz music, wine, and food vendors, all celebrating the legacy of one of the world's great music innovators. Davis was born in Alton in 1926 and changed the course of jazz by continually reinventing it. Headlining the festival will be acclaimed Virginia collective Butcher Brown. The festival celebrating Davis is Saturday, August 29th from 6 to 10 p.m. Event information is available on the Alton Amphitheater website and Facebook page. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
The state of Missouri is seeing fewer initial unemployment claims. The Missouri Department of Labor reports there were nearly 2,500 initial claims filed during the week ending on July 25th. That marks a drop of nearly 350 claims from the previous week. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, a place for all your floral needs, and you can place your order anytime at WKF.com. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. You can tune into Straight Talk on Retirement on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 right here on the Big 550. The Dow is up 49 points to 52,300. The S&P is up 13 points to 7,500. And the NASDAQ is up 120 points to 25,300. In KTRS sports, Cards dropped 3 of 4 to the Cubs after a 4-2 loss in 10 innings at Busch. J.J. Weatherholt connects for his 16th home run of the year in defeat. St. Louis City SC is back on home pitch tomorrow night against Real Salt Lake. As of now, it does not appear as if new designated player Carlo Holsa will be able to play as he deals with visa issues. In KTRS Time Saver traffic, let's go to the KTRS St. Louis Plaza Company Traffic Center for a look at the roads where we find Captain Paul Kopsky standing by.
Rose, we have a crash on 370 west of 94. It's blocking the 2 right lanes with only 1 lane getting through. 6455 east is heavy between the King Bridge and 64. And 6455 west is slow between Barack Obama Boulevard and the Poplar Street Bridge. This traffic report is brought to you by Westport Plaza. Don't miss the Westport Plaza Family Movie Night tonight for a free showing of The Sandlot. They'll have face painting, concessions, a stage show, and then the movie. That's the free family movie night at Westport Plaza tonight, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. In KTRS weather, rain and storms today, high of 82. Rain and strong storms possible tonight with an overnight low of 70. Rain likely tomorrow, high of 79. And Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 80. 72 degrees at 9:07. I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Julius Krasanik here, celebrating 54 years in this industry. My family owns Wholesale Siding Depot. That's WSDepot.com. Our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, and door experience. My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
Tired of companies that like to apply pressure to sell you high-priced fiberglass or wood windows? We offer the Anderson Fibrex family of windows in styles and colors, including black, at wholesale prices. What are you waiting for? We sell truckloads of siding, windows, and doors from CertainTeed, Anderson, Viwinco, Provia, and other major brands, all at wholesale prices, while offering a free contractor referral service for your expert installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. Visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it.
Yippee-yi-yo, coyote galloping all the way, great big star on his chest. Out from all of the rest, fastest car in the west. Yippee-yi-yo, coyote riding around the way, here comes quick off the road. The highfalutinist, fastest shootingest cowboy you ever saw. That's quick off the road.
All right, let's get right to it. We'll keep an eye on the rain, and Captain Paul's going to join us as needed with all this traffic and everything. But there is an election on Tuesday, and taking him off the campaign trail is St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman, who's out on the campaign trail, to talk about this news from earlier in this week. Steve Ellman, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
How you doing, Quick Draw?
Where are you?
I'm actually sitting outside my next appointment in the car. I listened to your interview with Steve Savard. The last time I talked to Steve Savard was probably 30 years ago, and he and I both played in a charity benefit basketball game against some St. Louis Rams football players. Now, I was way over the hill and wasn't much help to anybody, but he was still out there trying to compete against those guys, and I had to give him credit. So,
God love you. All right,
good for him.
All right, we'll get you. We'll get you in and out and get you on to your next appointment. But you guys made some news in St. Charles County this past week, where you guys are doing away with the personal property tax. Now, taxes. A lot of news about taxes, and everyone has no fun paying their personal property tax. So explain what St. Charles County and you did this week to the personal property tax.
Okay. Well, first of all, everybody hate all taxes, but they hate the property tax the most because they actually have to sit down and write a check. Okay. It doesn't come out of their paycheck as income tax does, and they don't pay it every day like sales tax. It's just one of those things. When I was in Jeff City, in legislature, various issues came and went, but every year property tax was a problem. Back in St. Charles, we had a Republican majority in the county council now for the last 25 years, and we had growth. So we had sales tax coming in more every year. And every year as more sales tax came in, we cut our tax rate on real property tax until by 2015, we had cut that down to zero. So the general fund for St. Charles County gets a zero property tax for the last 11 years. And if people check their bill, they'll see that. They'll see how much of this money goes to each political subdivision. We 3 years ago, remember when everybody got sticker shock when they got their bill for their car on the personal property tax because COVID had screwed the market up so bad? Well, at that point, we went ahead, we being the council and I, we went ahead and we lowered our personal property tax rate so that we would get the same amount of money and not a windfall. And we've done that the last 3 years, and this is kind of the culmination. We're finally at the point now because of the kind of revenue that has been coming in over the last couple of years. We're going to just zero out the property tax, personal property tax that taxpayers would pay to county government. So this is still a big problem, but we're part of the solution, not the problem.
Okay, so let's stick with personal property tax for a moment. As you said, St. Charles, after all of this work over the years, you've now been able to zero it out. Explain to people, that doesn't mean you're not going to pay personal property tax, but the St. Charles County portion has been zeroed out, which is what you're in charge of. Exactly. And of course, if people would like to see their school district or the fire districts or the ambulance district or the library district, if they like to see them do the same thing, they need to talk to people on those boards, or they need to run for those boards and actually make those adjustments. Again, this is something that didn't happen overnight. It's just kind of the last step. And there's nothing that county government can do to impact the property, personal or real, rates that these other political subdivisions are putting out there. But every year we set our rate, and this year we set it at zero. So you're saying that you're collecting zero in taxes, but you're not cutting any services? No, we're not, and we're able to do that. There's several reasons. We have not raised taxes in the 20 years that I've been in office. We have, though, gotten some additional revenue. Actually, our total revenue grew at 2.7% when you figure in, that's over a 19-year period, when you figure in the population growth and inflation. But you say, well, where did that 2.7% come from? It came from the General Assembly. After they passed that, after the Supreme Court said they could, they passed that Wayfair legislation, allowing us to tax out-of-state purchases. So we started getting more sales tax from out-of-state purchases, which then has allowed us to first freeze and now eliminate personal property tax. So how much on average, I know everyone's different with personal property tax, but how have you calculated on average? How much is each St. Charles County? It's about $4 million. $4 million total. What, any idea what that is per person, or average of a person who's going to save on their personal property tax? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I don't have that number. But remember, personal property tax depends on the value of your automobile, the value of your computers, your trailers, your boats, whatever you have. So yeah, it's whatever it is, it's going to be zero. How much you save depends on how much stuff you have. Yeah. Yeah. Same with now let's switch over to the property tax. Same idea, right? Your property tax goes to schools and other things, but the St. Charles County portion of your property tax is zero when it comes to your property tax. That's correct. And it has been for the last 11 years. Until 1970, cities and counties weren't authorized to charge any kind of sales tax. And at that point, they relied entirely on property tax. Since 1970, they've been collecting sales tax. And not everybody, but at least St. Charles County has been using
that as a means to go ahead and reduce the property tax, which of course is much more unpopular.
Yeah. St. Charles County, I know you've been there a while, and while you were there, they've now frozen the property tax in St. Charles County. Is that across the board in every taxing jurisdiction, or is that just the St. Louis County portion of that?
No, that's across the board.
Okay.
And our council was the first to go ahead and put that on the ballot. Seniors, we also last week, we made it easier for seniors. Once they're in the program, they don't have to reapply every year. So, we're listening to the folks, and we were never a big part of the problem, but now I can proudly say we're not part of the property tax problem at all.
So St. Charles County has no personal property tax, no property tax, and you've frozen all the property taxes across the board for seniors. A pretty good track record, Steve Ellman. How's the campaign going?
Well, it's going to be difficult putting up signs and campaigning in this rain, but we'll find a way to do that. I'm just ready for it to be over, McGraw.
I bet you are. Last question for you, Steve Ellman. How's your jump shot these days? Can Steve Savard call you for a little backup on the Channel 5 basketball team?
Well, I've got a pretty good set shot still, but no jump shot.
I learned today. I didn't know this. Your father, you grew up in St. Charles, and your father delivered milk in St. Charles?
Oh yeah, he was a milkman. My dad and Dick Gephardt's dad were both milkmen in the same Teamsters union.
Holy mackerel! I mean, there must have been 6 people he was delivering milk to out in St. Charles back in the day.
That's right. But my dad, God bless him, when he taught me to play basketball, he at the beginning, he taught me a 2-handed set shot. and my brother, who ended up being a better basketball player than I was, he was 5 years down younger. Okay. And by that time, they weren't shooting 2-handed set shots anymore. And I told him if I had started out shooting the ball right, I would have been a better player than him. But that's just there's advantages to being the older kid, and there are disadvantages, right?
Yeah. What was it like shooting into a peach basket back then?
Well, the tough part was climbing the ladder.
There you go.
The ladder to take it out of the peach basket.
There you go.
Because my grandpa said he needed that peach basket to collect his peaches.
County Executive Steve Ellman on the campaign trail. I'm sorry we took you off the campaign trail, but it was a pretty big story. A lot of talk about sales tax and property tax, and so I thought it was big news to sort of explain it to everybody. Have yourself a safe couple of days on the campaign trail. Good luck down the road, sir.
Always great to talk to you, McGraw.
You got it. Steve Ellman with us, County Executive. In the rain. They pulled him out of a meeting, pulled him in the rain, gave him the phone, and was nice enough to come in and talk about it. It's a big deal, right? So everyone hates personal property tax. St. Charles County has now zeroed out the personal property tax, hasn't cut services at all, hasn't had a property tax in, what do you say, since 2014? He took over in, 2007? And they've frozen your property tax for seniors. Pretty good track record for the guy. And, dare I say, a very nice man. In terms of full disclosure, he did appoint me to the Great Rivers Greenway Board. I represent St. Charles, that builds bike paths and trails all over the region in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles County. St. Charles has representatives on that board to help determine, and vote on where the money goes and everything else. And so there's 3 on the board from St. Charles. Bernie Dubray, Chuck Gross, and McGraw Milhaven were the 3 that represent St. Charles. 2 wonderful, wonderful men. Chuck Gross, longtime steward of St. Charles, and then Bernie Dubray is one of the best there ever was. What a wonderful man he is. Superintendent of I'm going to get it wrong, but Fort Zumwalt Schools, I believe. Anyway, so the 3 of us sit on that board and represent St. Charles, and Steve Ellman, in terms of full disclosure, has appointed me to that position.
You're right. Fort Zumwalt.
Fort Zumwalt. Bernie is
PhD.
Chuck, not so much. No, Chuck Gross is fine. Both of them are wonderful. I'm the weak link in that deal. But wonderful organization that builds the bike paths all around, and a great steward of taxpayer dollars. Anyway, all right. Election day is Tuesday. Go out and vote. 9:24 here. Big 550 KTRS. Bad day on the roads. They had that accident in 40 and Spady, and the rain's causing all sorts of troubles. Captain Paul Kosky, how's it look?
Well, McGraw, we have a crash on 370 West past 94, blocking the two right lanes with stop-and-go traffic back to the Discovery Bridge. There's an accident on 270 West before McDonald with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to 170, and another crash on 70 East before Grand, blocking the two right lanes. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, do yourself a favor. Head over to St. Louis Closet Company. Check out their showroom just north of Manchester on Big Bend. They've got all new displays. I mean, some are not all new, but a few new displays that shows the lights. And the lights, man, that really, it's not very expensive, but it just makes the closet look so rich. You can highlight your shoes or your ties or your purses or what. I mean, it's really, really gorgeous. St. Louis Closet Company, 30 plus years in the business and organizing your space. Wonderful family, big friends of the show. Always giving back to the community, right? They now are big supporters of what's the no, not the well, they are big for that, but Kid Smart, where you bring school supplies for the kids because the teachers end up buying the pens and the pads and the crayons and everything. So bring the school supplies, check out the showroom. That's what they do, right? They're not just in business, obviously, but they hire local, they support local, they support charities, and a wonderful, wonderful company. And when it's all said and done, you'll get beautiful closets, beautiful organized pantries and laundry rooms and Murphy beds and master closets. And whether you've got a big, giant walk-in closet that will be the envy of the world, or you got a small little closet in an older home, you need that space. That space is valuable. That's where St. Louis Closet Company comes in. So for all of your organizational needs, St. Louis Closet Co. or stlouisclosetco.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit cantorinjurylaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation. For foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing, choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, solid as rock.
Look at our alums, the contributions that they have made throughout industries in the St. Louis region.
Terry Freerks, a graduate of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
UMSL is embedded in the fabric of the St. Louis community. We're hands-on, and when our students graduate, they are definitely career ready, but maybe more importantly, they're career confident.
More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to be your local business banking partner. Since 1964, our team has been committed to uplifting local business leaders and delivering expert guidance on their path to success. Discover how they can work with you to achieve your business goals, no matter how big or small. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com to learn more about our commercial banking services. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, what they say is a port in any storm. Randy Carricker, where are you in this storm?
McGraw, I'm nearly across the street from Westport Plaza. I'm at Shorty's Diner having breakfast with my buddy Scott Adamak, and it is an ugly day outside, but we're having a great time here. And you can hear in the background, you can hear the diner music, but it's great.
All right. Shorty's for Randy Carricker over here at Westport. All right. The trade deadline is, Tuesday?
It's Monday at 5 o'clock St. Louis time.
Okay,
yes.
Way better than midnight on July 31st. So that's
right.
That's one change we can all agree with Major League Baseball. We'll get to the Cardinals in a second, but the Mets made a trade with the Twins, and apparently the talk is that the Mets got a haul for a rental pitcher. If this is the market, this could be a wild trading deadline.
Yeah, it really could. A.J. Minter goes to Minnesota. And let's start with that, the fact that Minnesota is buying, because last year the Twins got rid of about 40% of their roster on trade deadline day. They won on a grand slam by Roger Clemens' son yesterday, and they're in the race. If the playoffs started today, Minnesota would be in the playoffs. So they are buying, and they did. The Mets got some pretty good young talent back from Minnesota. And to your point, I don't know if there's enough good young minor league talent to go around for all of the teams that need to go get something, because look at Tarek Skubal. He's won the last 2 Cy Youngs. He's having a great year for Detroit. He's going to get traded. I'm really intrigued to see what sort of a haul Tarek Skubal brings. And then with the trickle down, we'll get to the Cardinals now, what will somebody give up for a guy like Dustin May? Because there's maybe a dozen starting pitchers on the block before you get to Dustin May.
Yeah, there are so many teams who are right there. If you can get a solid starting pitcher like a Struble, maybe hopefully do a little Dave Duncan job on Dustin May and get something else out of him, that just might push you over the edge. And so you're willing to trade your future for your present.
No doubt about it, because somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose a playoff spot by 1 game. And that's the sort of move that can get you into a playoff spot. And especially when you're looking at that AL Central, because everybody's so bunched up, Minnesota could win the division there. They've got the White Sox, and Detroit's not going to do anything. Kansas City's not going to do anything, but you've got Cleveland and you've got Detroit, and those, along with the White Sox, you've got some teams that have a chance, and somebody's going to win that division by 1 game. And this weekend will probably determine who wins and why, and it'll be because of a trade deadline move.
Yeah, Lars Nootbaar, even though that boneheaded play yesterday, I've always liked the guy, but you have to give up something to get something.
And it's interesting, McGraw, because everybody's looking for right-handed hitters. Baseball's really weird right now that nobody can find right-handed hitters. The Yankees have none, with Judge on the shelf and Giancarlo Stanton on the shelf. And the left-handed hitter, Cody Bellinger, is out. Paul Goldschmidt isn't doing anything for them. The Yankees are desperate for a right-handed hitter. But somebody's going to wind up not getting a right-handed hitter because there's not enough to go around, and they're going to have to go for a lefty. And I think Nootbaar will be right there near the top of that list. I would think Philadelphia might have interest if they don't get a righty hitter. The Yankees, Boston. By the way, both Boston and the Yankees apparently have checked in on the Cardinals' nominal catcher, Ivan Herrera, because he's a right-handed bat. So somebody might be willing to overpay for him too. I'd be a little bit surprised if the Cardinals would move him unless they did get an incredible haul. But with the dearth of right-handed hitting in baseball right now, somebody might be willing to do that.
Yeah, that was my next question. So Nootbaar, Herrera, Dustin May, anybody else on that list we can?
Well, Jojo Romero right now is on the shelf. He had appendicitis. He should be coming back from that. And he had pitched really well. He hadn't been allowed to run in July before he suffered the appendicitis. So I think you're looking at the possibility of him too. So those are really the big four, I think. And Ryan Stanek is a guy that people are talking about. I don't know if the Cardinals can get an awful lot back for Ryan Stanek, but I would think that he would be on there too. And by the way, I kind of thought that Dustin May, because of customs, and we know he's going to get traded, I thought he might not go with the Cardinals to Toronto, but he was on the plane last night, and he's in Toronto with the Cardinals today.
Is it possible that Struble ends up with the Dodgers?
Yes, it's likely. Apparently, it's going to be the Dodgers or the Brewers for him. And the Dodgers, it's interesting, McGraw, those two teams have the highest number of top 100 prospects in all of baseball. The Dodgers have something like 9, and the Brewers have 8, I think. And so one of those teams will wind up with that pitcher. And I would think that team that winds up with Derek Skubal will be the favorite to represent the National League in the World Series.
Yeah. That Stearns guy really did a number on the Brewers, and now he's doing a number for my Mets. Why doesn't he sprinkle some of that Brewers magic on the Mets? But that's a whole other issue.
Well, and maybe what they need to do is go inexpensive. Sometimes guys, they get access to the money and they don't do really well with it. Maybe the best thing for him is to go with a budget team like the Brewers were when he was there.
Well, and everyone looks at the Dodgers, right? It took the Dodgers a couple years to sort of figure out their system, so it doesn't happen overnight.
So, when the new ownership came in with Mark Walter and the Guggenheim Group, my friend and a friend of a lot of St. Louisans, Ned Coletti, was the general manager, and he was making that big trade. Remember the big trade when he got Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford, and I think he might have gotten Josh Beckett or something.
Yeah.
And so one of the owners is sitting across from him, and he's working on this deal. And he asked the Red Sox GM, he said, "Hey, I'm taking on a lot of money here. Can I get $12 million back?" And the owner has like gritted teeth, and Ned puts the guy on mute. He says, what's going on here? He said, if this deal dies over money, and this is the owner telling a general manager, if this deal dies because you're asking for money, you're fired. And so Ned took the guy off mute, but he wound up getting the $12 million anyway.
God love you. Real quick, you mentioned Giancarlo Stanton, or Mike Stanton, or whatever you want to call the guy. Thank goodness for unanswered prayers. Good thing he never went to the Cardinals. What a disaster he's been for the Yankees for the last 10 years.
McGraw, luckiest thing the Cardinals ever had happen was that Stanton wanted to go to – when he had his no trade, he wanted to go either to the Yankees, the Astros, the Cubs, or the Dodgers. Those have been the final 4 teams that year. And the Cardinals were going to take on the whole contract, and they were going to give up Jack Flaherty, I think, and I think Alcantara was part of that deal too. But you're exactly right, because he's hardly played for the Yankees. And when he's played, he's hit a little bit, but I think he's only had one season where he played as many as 120 games for the Yankees. And the Cardinals, to your point, dodging a bullet, they would have never been able to keep Wainwright and Molina. They would have had to get rid of one of those guys. Never would have made the trade for Goldschmidt, who won an MVP. Never would have made the trade for Arenado, who was third in the MVP voting. They would have had this process way earlier, and then they would have had Giancarlo Stanton making $25 million and not playing for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 10 years. He hasn't been healthy. I don't know, 8-9 years already.
Yeah, the deal I think was $330 million over 13 years or something like that. And so he's made a lot of money, and he had won the MVP the year before, so you thought it was a good deal. But man, he has just been hurt all the time.
Yeah, best thing that happened to the Cardinals, that not getting Giancarlo Stanton and not getting Mike Hampton. There's another one. There's another one.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
All right, Randy Carricker.
Who got Mike Hampton, by the way?
I think the Mets got him. The Mets got him. Yeah. There you go. God love you. Randy Carricker, who's your sponsor?
It's our friends at Classic Air Care, McGraw, and they do an amazing job of HVAC. And I know that the weather is bad today, but we're going to get back to that hot weather in August. And people need to make sure that their air conditioning is good. And before you know it, you're going to need your furnace to be looked at. So you want to get in touch with my friends at Classic Air Care. They're on the web at classicaircare.com, AIRE, classicaircare.com. They have been around St. Louis for 100 years, working on people's furnaces. Air conditioners, not as long, but they've been around, but they were around for the start of air conditioning. And not only are they going to come out and do a great job on your air conditioning unit, but they're going to tell you how much time you have left with that air conditioning unit. They do great work here in St. Louis on plumbing and electrical. And you know how popular they are because you see all of their vans, their orange vans with the penguins on them. They're beautiful. Go to classicaircare.com, AIRE, and set up your appointment, whether it's electrical, plumbing, or HVAC. And tell them Randy sent you at Classic Air Care.
From the Country Club Car Wash text line, can you tell me a little more specifically where Shorty's Diner is located? Shorty's Diner is the old Hardee's out here at Westport, right?
Yeah. So when you get off 270 to get off of Page and then you're coming towards Westport, it's right after that turn.
Okay. Well, first of all, the person who designed Westport was on crack.
Yes, that's insane.
Because I never know if like 270 is east of me or west of me or to the left of me or to the right of me. I've worked out here for 20 years. I still don't get it. It's very confusing. So it's across the street from Watlow Electric.
Yes.
And it's just west of Woodcrafters. Woodcraft is the woodworking store.
And there's a gas station.
That I used to spend all my paycheck on each and every week, but don't anymore because I have a 6-year-old. But it was there was a right behind, there's a Circle K right there on the corner. Yes. Right behind Circle K on, I believe, Lackland and Craig.
It used to be the Rock and Roll Hardee's.
Oh, okay. Then it was just regular Hardee's.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Shorty's. And go say hi to Randy Carricker. 940 here, Big 550, KTRS. This one, let's talk about Altair Travel and Cruises. Altair Travel and Cruises. Heidi's taking a whole bunch of people to Iceland. So you want to do, and I think that trip sold out, but just to show you some of the things. And then Mike Ward, it should be back any day now when it comes to his Danube trip. Altair Travel and Cruises handles all the details. You go online. There's nobody really looking out for you. They're trying to jam you into a bus or jam you into an extra hotel that hasn't been booked. No. Tell you a little story about Altair Travel and Cruises. The last one we were on, did the train trip through Switzerland and northern Italy. We ended up in Milan. We wanted to spend a couple days in Milan afterwards. So we called up Sherry Norris and Sherry, we want to stay in Milan. And so she's like, I got the hotel, I got the this, I got the, okay, fine. So we get to Milan. The hotel was literally right in the main square. We were right next to this beautiful cathedral, this beautiful square. The food was fantastic. The sightseeing, the people, the culture. It was the perfect hotel. Never in a million years would we have known where this hotel was. Never would have booked it. But Altair Travel and Cruises put us right in the center of all the activity, and we had a wonderful 2 days. That's what they do. They know where to go. They know how to go, the transfers, all that stuff. They handle all the details. You handle all the fun. So for all of your travel needs, whether it's down to the Cardinals for spring training, the Cardinal Cruise, Europe, Caribbean, Alaska, they've got it all. Altair Travel and Cruises, 314-968-9600 or altairtravel.com.
You're selling your home and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show, this Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
For the last 33 years, we've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do I hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
It's the GOAT, the greatest of all trade-in events at HW Kia. Bring your trade now and get up to $5,000 over book value for it. If your trade is old, tired, stinky, or being held together by duct tape and a prayer, HW Kia wants it. Paid off or not, bring that old GOAT in to HW Kia. Then drive home a new HW Kia K4 for just $189 a month. Yes, only $189 a month on a 24-month lease. It's the HW Kia GOAT event. The greatest of all trade-in events. Get up to $5,000 over book value for your trade now. New K4, just $189 a month. HW Kia in the heart of West County on Manchester Road. And remember, Big D wants to see ya in an HW Kia. Start now at hwkia.com. With approved credit to well-qualified buyers through Kia Finance. 2026 K4, $36.95 due at signing. Discount includes $850 in lease cash. 10,000 miles per year. No security deposit. Plus tax, title, license, and admin. Fee expires 7/31/26.
I'm Bob Hardcastle. Listen to my Money Talk radio program every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on the Big 550, where we discuss your money in an easy-to-understand manner. We have interesting guests, chat about money. We try to help you feel more comfortable with your money by talking about the investment market. Join me. I'm Bob Hardcastle.
Money Talk, Sunday morning at 8 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Now back to McGraw, presented by Londoff Chevrolet, the Londoff Autoplex, and Londoff.com on the Big 550 KTRS.
This song's the best. All right. Tonight's free Christmas in July movie night has been canceled due to the rain and the wet and everything else. They'll reschedule. But yeah, it is officially. We've been plugging it 795 times this week. And
just like the first one,
we're here to tell you that it's now officially canceled. So find something else to do tonight. Maybe we all go to Joe's and I'll commandeer the jukebox and we'll play Frank Sinatra songs all night long. How about that? Also, don't forget about this. The Big 550 KTRS is proud to celebrate 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis, and we're looking forward to another 30 years. We'll want to hear from you and get your thoughts on what you like and what you don't like and what can be better. Or save your constructive criticism for the other shows. Go to KTRS.com or the KTRS app to take our 30th anniversary listener survey. We thank you in advance. And once you take the survey, you'll be registered for a chance to win one of 5 200 Visa cards from the Big 550 KTRS. And yes, it is true. The nanny filled out the survey, and she did say something along the lines of, apparently, she wants Steve Savard taking over the morning show. She said something along the lines of she wants Steve Savard to host every show on the radio station.
Except for the fact that he's now doing the 10 o'clock news on 5.
She may or may not have a thing for Steve Savard. God love you. Oh, McGraw, do you have to say everything I say? McGraw, I can't tell you anything. What else was there? Let's go to the text line. I've been wondering all week what crack pipe you were all smoking that you thought you were going to be able to get tonight in despite the rain. Hey, man, as I told St. Louis Magazine, we all work for a man, and the man was telling me to plug it, so I plugged it. Great show today, McGraw. Thank you. Love all the interviews. Thank you. I would think being by a woodworking store, you would be a drug addict having a crack pipe or heroin supply store living above you. Yeah, that Woodcrafters has quite a bit of my money over the years. But then Emerson came along, and it's hard getting into that workshop. That is for sure. Can you please be more specific about where Shorty's Diner is located? I think we did that. Steve Ellman on the show. What do you complain? What are you all excited about? That's not that big of a deal. It's being blown way out of proportion. It's only 3% of your personal property tax bill. The fact that Steve Ellman and the St. Louis County Council has been able to reduce what they're responsible for the personal property tax, they've brought it down to 0. Is not 3%. I think it's more than 3%, but that doesn't matter. Let's say it is 3%. Why don't you just send me 3% of your personal property tax then? If it's not that big of a deal, just send the check to me, and I'll be sure to take care of it. I love these people. Oh, you're only saving $40 a month. Well, okay, send me $40 a month. What I save $100 on my mortgage? Okay, it's $100. It's $1,200 a year. At some point, it's going to be. Are you that rich that you can just throw $1,000 away every year? That you don't care about $1,000? God love you. But for a lot of people, zeroing out your personal property tax is kind of a big deal, especially in an environment where everybody's talking about taxes. We want to do away with the income tax. We want to they're all talking about it. The only person who actually did anything about it was Steve Ellman. He zeroed out the property tax. He zeroed out the personal property tax, and he froze all the other property taxes. So the guy's not in charge of any more taxes. He zeroed out everything he can zero out. I don't know of an elected official who's done better. Name for me an elected official who's done better than zeroing out all the taxes they have control over. Unless I'm crazy, that's a pretty good track record. Right? I mean, what do you want from the guy? Oh, it's only 8% of my tax. Okay, well, sorry. He's only in charge of 8% of your taxes. From the Country Club Car Wash text line, you're no Savard. Josh Gilbert checks in. So the nanny thinks I'm chopped liver now? Yeah, that's exactly right, Josh. You're on the outs. We all got kicked to the curb for Steve Savard. From the nanny, stop it. At least you know I really listen. There's another one here. What was this one here? Donald Trump is more concerned about IRS immunity than he is about confirming his next attorney general. But he's obviously not concerned because Blanche will be acting attorney general either way. I think Todd Blanche is either going to be attorney general or acting attorney general until the end of Bush's term. Trump's term. Trump's term. Stephen Portnoy laid it out for us earlier. There is no mechanism for him to be anything. If he doesn't get confirmed, he can pretend to be the acting attorney general for the rest of Trump's term. So Todd Blanche is the attorney general for all sake, regardless of what happens with these votes and in the Senate. Ken, line 1, you're on the Big 550 KTRS. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. Hey, this Amendment 5, I've heard it advertised on TV where it's a tax cut. So does that mean we're going to get our taxes cut by $9 billion?
Well, no, collectively they're going to take in $9 billion less when they do away with the income tax.
But they're going to add it to something else.
Well, now this is where the rub comes in, because if you listen to Mike Keogh, he will tell you that they're going to gradually reduce the income tax as the other revenue and other taxes go up. So if the revenue goes up, they can reduce the income tax. And so maybe, like Steve Ellman has actually done, is not cut any services, not raise any taxes, and lower the rate of your personal property tax. Maybe the state's thinking they can do the same thing. Some are skeptical, some are not.
So they're still going to get the $9 million, just going to be a different way.
Well, or they're going to cut services, or if things are growing, if we stop Panera from leaving St. Louis and invite other companies to come into Missouri, and grow our revenue, we could do away with the income tax and not have to replace it with anything because of all the other taxes that are already in place.
You think they would do something to get more people to move into St. Louis as like immigration, but this state will never do that.
Well, we did. We brought a whole bunch of Bosnians in, right, during the whole Serbian stuff, and that seemed to be a win-win. I mean, that's been a wonderful boon for the not just the economy, but for the culture and everything else. Ken, thanks for the phone call. You know, we brought in the Italians, we brought in the dirty Irish, we brought in the Germans, right, who were once considered, right, oh, the dirty Germans, oh, the dirty Irish, oh, the dirty Italians, who have, became Americanized. There's a wonderful book out there. It's called When the Irish Became White, which is so funny, right? It's because my grandmother told me all sorts of stories about how the Irish were discriminated against and they couldn't apply for jobs. And you'd walk into a store, it says Irish need not apply. Imagine in this day and age, in this country, there were signs in storefronts that said Irish need not apply. And then at one point, the Irish became white and all that stigma went away. And then they were, quote unquote, Americans. So we have a long history of discriminating against immigrants only for them to become part of the American culture and everything else. So just the way it is. All right. When do you want me out?
Whenever you want.
That was a quick 4 hours.
Not a good guess. We were the first ones to have Steve Savard on.
We broke the news. First one was Steve Savard, our exclusive.
And he'll be on with Frank and Jill at 10 minutes to 11.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so he blew off Frank.
No. He's still going to be on with them.
But he said us first. Yeah.
He likes you.
Yeah.
He's got to work with Frank.
Frank and Savard on the same desk. That desk isn't big enough for the two of them.
With Kelly in between them.
That's going to be some anchor desk. All right. We are officially done for the day. Everything's on KTRS.com. The movie's canceled tonight, so don't show up to watch The Sandlot. It's canceled. What about the Bricker Brothers? All right, good. I'm done. Frank's going to take it from here. Maybe we'll see you at Joe's. Or maybe we'll go to Duke Zebert's. Thanks for putting up with me. We'll see you Monday.